You are now listening to the Sae Bae Cast, the #1 old school RuneScape podcast featuring guests from all across Galanor. To support this podcast, visit the Patreon link in the description.
All right, welcome to the Sae Bae Cast number 86 with gunschilli. Gunschilli,
Hey,
how are you doing this fine afternoon?
I'm doing great, thank you. It's like the first time I've sat still and not been in the desert in the pyramid.
Yeah.
It's nice to chill out.
I seriously turned off my time tracking reminders because like as an Ironman, you like pretty much are forced to do bird runs and herb alerts like all the time if you want to ever have potions. But
Sure, yeah.
I did like 3 months of just nonstop runs, and now I'm turning that shit off. I'm not gonna do my runs anymore right now. I just want to raid. But I did realize I need scales and I need amethyst darts because my dragon darts are running low, and scales. Yeah, I didn't realize how important a blowpipe would be in this raid. Usually it's like never really important in future stuff, but
yeah, they're nice on Akka.
Yeah,
a lot of darts there.
Yeah, they're dominant.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, I want to get into you, get into your whole story and everything, how you became a content creator and stuff. But first, how are you enjoying Raids 3? Because it is the hottest topic. It just came out last week.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts?
It's amazing. Like I think it exceeds my expectations, which is great. And I think I have the same peeves as everyone else does that I've seen. But like it's such tiny things that I think they can work on. Like overall, though, I think it's a masterpiece.
Yeah. It's almost like inevitable. Even if they were to fix the things, like every single thing that you'd want to have fixed, there would always be something else that would be like, oh, well, that's not perfect, you know?
Yeah, and I think the things that I personally would like them to fix, I think would actually upset quite a few people. So,
what are they?
It's just some difficulty stuff. Like I know it's a contentious topic, but I kind of am on that side of like, I don't think you should be able to get some stuff on entry.
I see. It really depends on what the drop rates are, because like I was under the impression if you did entry, it would be like 1 in 30,000 to like get something, you know, like just something stupid, but it's still there. Like that would have been cool, but it really does feel a lot more common. And here's my thing is whenever a piece of content comes out, almost inevitably the drop rates are too rare in my personal taste.
Right.
It feels like this sucks. Like we're not seeing stuff often. This potentially feels like we're getting stuff too commonly, but I'm like, is that a problem for me? I'm like, I don't even want to mention it because like I've seen so many drop. Like there was a dude on Reddit that got full Masori in 3 raids.
Oh,
normal, like 150. I'm pretty sure. Like he got back to back all 3 different Masori pieces. I know that's like a complete anomaly, but like Jesus Christ, like that would never happen.
I guess with that many people doing it, it's like so hot on release that you're going to see so much stuff. But like the price of a bond has gone down low, so people are obviously buying bonds to then buy the new gear as well. So I think it's like maybe things are starting to balance out.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm not sure though.
I just really am hoping. My problem is like and I'm on the side of Adicon with this. I would really like expert to be significantly better for items, not like anything crazy where you just have to do an expert and it's like a 1 in 2 chance to get something. But I feel like normal mode's a bit too lenient. I don't know. At least for me, I would like to see the player base like really push themselves. And so if there was like really, really challenging content, like super high risk, high reward. And I know this is kind of a little bit selfish because for the past 2 days, I've literally just been wiping and like almost gladly wiping because I'm just like, I don't really mind learning right now. But it would feel good to be rewarded for the effort I've been putting in, you know? Like,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I feel like once I finally get my first expert solo done, it's going to be nice. But then it's so stupid because I feel like every RuneScape player kind of has this mentality of like, oh, we need this information. Like we need to know the drop rates. We need to know if it's worth doing. And it's just like, okay, maybe I'll complete my first expert tomorrow or whatever. But then I know that I'm just going to go back to normals just because I've seen people on Twitter like say, oh yeah, normals is going to give you better drops.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I've heard like 190s is like peak. It's like if you just get like a 190 raid going. I mean, that's literally 190 was when I got my first drop. I got a Fang. And I was like, okay, normals are. I got it 5KC. I was like, okay, like normals feel pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Overall, though, I love it so much.
Yeah. No, it's true. So I guess we'll come back to that topic. But first, gunschilli or Tom, as I'll call you. Who are you for those that don't know or have never heard of you?
I am a RuneScape creator. I do a few things with RuneScape. I like to stream it. I like to make videos on it. Most of all, I like to play it. And I like to help others make videos about it. And I like to make art on it too. Like I like drawing stuff about it and making 3D models and stuff based on it. I just love the game, man.
That's awesome. That's really cool to just hear a creator's like passion for the actual game. 'Cause I feel like it's almost rare. I don't know. At least when you get older, it's like, I don't know. Sometimes being a content creator for years can kind of burn you out of just the game, but it's cool.
I honestly thought it would, but I've been playing for so long now. I don't think I've ever really been burnt. I've had breaks and appreciated it, but yeah, I don't really get burnt much.
So you're okay. So you stream and you do YouTube. Is there one that you would say you're more like prone to, or like one that you, I guess, enjoy more?
I think, yeah. In 2017, I felt like I'd start taking YouTube more seriously than Twitch. But I started out streaming Twitch before I made a video or anything like that.
Damn.
So yeah, probably YouTube, but I get months. It's like I'll have like 3 or 4 months in a year now. There seems to be the pattern where I like don't really want to make a video for a month. So I'll be like, right, this is the month I'm just gonna stream. So I feel like now YouTube feels more like the kind of job side of things. Like that's the thing I wake up and I think about, and I like to grind out and create. And then when I want to put my feet up and relax, I'll stream.
That's cool. That feels. I guess it kind of feels like similar to me. I don't take YouTube terribly serious, and I don't really spend like hours and hours editing. I can imagine. I mean, seeing some of your videos, it makes other. I'm gonna say this. It makes other creators feel bad, man. You got to stop with the edits, dude. You got to stop. I'm kidding, but it is very impressive to see you and like even Torvesta recently just pumping out in just great quality videos, you know. And it's cool to see. It's almost like the competitiveness of I don't know, good editing is kind of like raising. Like if you were to be a creator a decade ago, you would have been like just the greatest of all time, I feel like. But like as the years go by, there are like those top end creators that really are pushing themselves, and it's really cool to see. But
sure, I feel like with YouTube it really shines through when you can tell someone loves to do it and loves to create stuff like that. I by no means think it's necessary to create like heavily edited videos. I was listening to your podcast with Will earlier, and he was saying like he loves to be able to just create YouTube videos where people can have as background noise.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally prefer those kind of videos, even though I don't make those kind of videos.
Interesting.
I love to like just have something on the side and just like listen to it and follow along.
Yeah.
Especially with progress videos. Like the Boti's recent videos are just so great to have as a companion. Like before, like as I wake up and have coffee, just like sit there and listen to him go through what he's doing, and that kind of content.
That's true.
I love so much right now, and I just don't feel like it's necessary to create, like high edited, high quality videos unless you really want to do it and you really love to do it, kind of thing.
So let me ask you this then, because back when, Caveman Only, he used to be like a full-time creator, and now he's kind of doing his own thing. He still stays connected to the community, but he's not like making videos or anything. But
sure,
he said that he got to the point in making videos where he did start putting maybe even too much effort into his videos, and it burned him out of even making videos because he felt like as soon as you start putting in more effort, you can't go back.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So how have you dealt with that?
The way I've done, I feel like since about 2017, I've tried to step it up every time. And like financially, it's that mentality has destroyed me often. Because like I'll take on something too ambitious when it comes to learning something, whether it's like learning Blender. I only started learning that in January, and I sold my car to learn it because I knew that I wouldn't be able to create anything with much substance for like 2 or 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have like 2 or 3 months where I'm not gonna earn much money. And like I just feel sometimes I make big mistakes by doing things like that, whereas I should just kind of focus on just pumping out content rather than waiting to
I
learn
see.
something. But the good thing about doing that for me personally has just been the opportunities I've gotten outside of YouTube or like outside of creating my own content. So now I'm at a point where like people will kind of like commission me to help them with things, whether it's like a sponsored integration or recently Jagex with the TOA trailers.
Yeah. Those
I
are
feel like
great,
I'm
by
at,
the way.
oh, thanks, man. I'm glad you like them. They're so fun to make. Yeah, I just feel like now I'm at a point where I can kind of take my foot off the gas with my own channel and help out others if need be,
That's cool. Do
or
you
like
enjoy
help
it?
out. Yeah.
Like let's just bring up the Raids 3 kind of trailer example. Did you enjoy that, or did you feel like I could be making my own video with like great edits? I don't know. Like I don't know.
Sure. I was really nervous about doing it at first because like it was new to Jagex as well. Like they'd never really let anyone they had let playtesters come in, but they hadn't really let anyone come in for the purpose of like creating direct content for something that they've not released yet.
Yeah.
So we were all kind of just like, oh, we'll just see how it goes kind of thing. And I think it went better than we expected. It was a lot easier. I went into the office for a day and then just kind of zoomed around with an orb in the raid. Like I they set my character to invincible, and like I couldn't really damage anything. I just kind of went into every room, took as many shots as I could, and then begged the art team for object files for Blender.
Very cool.
And yeah, they were just like, yeah, sure. Everything was just like, I was like, oh, this is going too well. Like I'm getting they're allowing me to use these files. And I just felt like I had big shoes to fill in. I was like, oh, I don't really want to mess this up.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure, especially when it comes to if it's released on the old school channel, some people feel like, oh, it's a free opportunity to just critique it to like,
Oh
you know,
yeah,
my
for
wits
sure.
ends basically. Like it's
Yeah.
so you have that writing on you as well, because some people
Hmm.
might not even see, oh, this is done by gunschilli. It's like, oh, this is old school thing, and just like judge the fuck out of it, you know. So
Oh yeah. That's happened to me before. Like in I think it was 2016. Under the Matt K era, they asked me and my ex at the time to do like a guide for people coming into the game, and it was a disaster.
really,
Like,
I don't
yeah,
remember this.
I'm so bad at explaining things. Like people ask me to make guides all the time, and I don't like trying to tell people how to play. It's just not
Yeah.
my thing. But back then, you know, they kind of waved a carrot in front of my nose, and I was just like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. And I should have said no. It just wasn't my thing to like try and make a guide.
I see. I don't know. I feel like you can't regret having tried it. I don't
Yeah,
know.
for
At least
sure.
that's my take. It's like I don't know. I feel like you would have regretted it if you didn't. If you're just like, nah, I don't want to do that. But
Yeah,
that's fair.
I would have.
Okay. Yeah. That's cool though that you're at a place now where you can kind of help out the community as well and just have your own content, because I feel like you're pretty well established now as a creator. And that really just, I don't know. It's a good place to be in, I feel like. Now, I don't know exactly how you feel about that because everyone's like situation's different. But when I see you as a creator, I'm like, he's just doing great. It looks like, you know, just kind of knows his flow, knows what he's doing. He streams often. He, is uploading consistently, whatever, however many days.
Sure.
You want to upload. So I don't know. I think you're in a cool place. At least what I've seen. So
Yeah, I mean, everyone's their own worst critic. Like, I personally don't. I always think, I'm only uploading once a month. I should try and get 2 out, and
yeah.
yeah, you kind of shoot yourself in the foot with stuff like that sometimes. But I am very fortunate to be able to do this for a living.
Yeah. Okay, so let's take a step back, and how did it all begin? Like because I feel like, okay, so I talk to a lot of creators, and it's always fun just asking their origin story, because for the longest time, and maybe my audience can relate with this, is like, for the longest time I used to think content creators were built different, like they were just like a different breed of people, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
like sort of like actors. You just see an actor like, oh, that's just an actor, it's like, oh, this is a content creator. But
Yeah.
it really, you weren't born to be a content creator. It's just like you just chose to be one. So yeah, how was
Yeah.
the whole journey?
Well, I started a long time ago. It was like it was the spring of 2015 I actually started, but like I feel like it kind of started in 2014. Because I had a job. I was stringing tennis rackets for a sports company, and I would watch AOA YouTube, Skidler, and Emma Curtis. MMORPG was like a new streamer then, so I'd check him out sometimes too, and Boti, of course. And I would just work and watch them all the time, and loved the game as well. I was like pet hunting back then, because they just released like the first pets in 2014. So I was like really keen to like make a pet hunting series.
Quick tangent. How many pets were there on release? Because I actually didn't play until the end of 2015, so I don't even remember.
I don't remember. All I remember is that I think Jad came out before got the God Wars pets, and I think the God Wars pets came after God Wars was released. But I know that KBD existed, and obviously Chaos Ellie was the first one.
Okay.
And I think Snakeling might have been like when Zora came out and Snakeling came out. That was when they were like, okay, we should make pets for all the other things.
That's
so
cool.
I think it was like Chaos Ellie, Snakeling, and then they gave it to like KBD and Jad and stuff.
Okay. So there was very few, just like a handful or a couple handfuls.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I might be wrong on this though. It's just so long ago, I don't really remember.
Anyway, continue.
So I wanted to like hunt pets and stream it. Because I kind of like got to know quite a few of Skidler's community just through being in the chat. And you know what Skidler's like. He's the type of guy that just knows everyone's name. So like whenever I would go into a stream, he would like know me by my actual name.
Yeah.
And like I just felt welcomed, and I was like, oh, like it'd be cool to do this as well. Just like talk to other people. Like it would help time go faster. So I started doing that, and then my sister also plays RuneScape. And she was like pretty good at Hunter. She was like a high ranked Hunter back then.
Oh dang.
And so we would do like red chin streams. We'd like stream catching red chins, and like just by pure accident, well not accident, just by fortune, I guess. Mog Time hosted me on like my first ever stream for like 2,000 viewers.
Jesus.
And I like didn't know what to do. Like, I don't really recall like being nervous or anything, because back then it was just so unfamiliar. Like I just didn't understand what was really happening.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just kind of like chatting away and being silly. And then I didn't stream for 2 weeks after, because I was like, oh yeah, that was fun. I've got to go back to work now and just carry on with life.
Yeah.
And then like some guy called, I remember his name. His name's Ashley. He found my email address and emailed me. It was like, when are you going live next? And I was like, what do you mean? When am I going live next? I don't do this. It was just kind of like a one-off hunting thing. Like maybe I had like little ideas of like maybe I could do this on stream, like a pet hunting stream every now and then, but I didn't actually like consider myself for it to like be a thing.
Yeah.
And then like my second stream, I had like 40 views straight away without like getting a host. I was like, wow, like 40 people already tuned in. And then from that point on, like I never really, I'm so lucky. I never had to like be kind of below 10 viewers at all. It was always like I always had sort of
A
30 to
base.
40
Yeah.
viewers base. Yeah. A lot different back then. There weren't many streamers around, but yeah, I just kind of fell into it, I guess.
It always feels like that because I started watching Twitch end of 2015. I have no idea what the experience was like as a streamer, but people said like, yeah, getting partnered would take like 500 average viewers. I'm like, how the hell is that even possible? Like, like that would be like very few people, but apparently there was just so many people watching and so few streamers. It's just a lot more, I don't know, saturated with viewers, I guess, and not saturated with streamers. That's so interesting.
For sure. My journey to partnership was like, I don't think anyone will ever experience anything like it again, because I was sort of getting like 200 viewers. It was, I was playing Iron Man at the time, and I just like, a Cerberus had just come out. So I just unlocked Cerberus and it was like hype. And, it was just like insane. Like people would be like emailing Twitch on my behalf. Like people were just, oh, get him partner, get him partnered. And like, you didn't really know how to do it. You just kind of like email them and hope for the best. And I got rejected. And then like, it was just like insane.
Yeah, that
like
is
how
such a different
hype
time.
it was when you got it then.
Because back then it wasn't really. I remember talking to Bodhi. I mean, it was never about the money initially. Like when you start streaming, it's because you're passionate about playing the video game and sharing it. There was no sub button until you literally like grinded and just like relying on donations here and there.
Yeah, for sure.
Interesting. So 2015 you started, and so were you kind of like slow at it? Because you said like, I don't know, it almost feels like 2017 was like your bigger year, I guess. But
Yeah,
how did that go?
it was. Well, I was working and at university. So I took the very wise decision after a year of streaming to quit university first. I was like, you know what? I can like balance Twitch and my job. Like I can just kind of like freelance my job a bit. And then just as time went on, I was just taking less and less days at work. Yeah, I was still living with my mum as well. So it's like, as long as I can pay rent.
A lot easier, yeah.
So, yeah, I just kind of weaned off everything else in life to go all into streaming, and it definitely changed my life.
Yeah, it's a cool feeling. I don't know if you ever had like a toxic relationship with a job. That sounds like a weird term, but I don't know. I don't know what your job was. I won't ask in details, but like if you've ever worked like manual labor and you're just working with your hands for 12 hours straight and all you're thinking about is RuneScape, you start like despising your job, kind of.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I was doing. Like I was stringing tennis rackets, which takes like sort of 20 minutes a racket.
Oh,
and I get like 12 to 20 a day. It's like fletching in real life. Like
yeah, I was about to say, I'm like, damn.
And like, yeah, my boss kind of knew that I was like slowly leaving, because he'd be like, oh, you're playing that game again, And then he used to never care as well when I watched streams. And then one day he was just like, like you got to stop watching those streams. Like I think he didn't want me to go, but in turn he was like, like, yeah, come on, focus up, do more rackets. And I was just like, right, I'm just gonna leave this as well and just full-time stream.
Yeah, that's good.
And yeah,
interesting.
I think it was for a good decision to make.
Oh yeah, I mean, even though it's really tough to almost, I don't know, encourage somebody to like content create, because there is so much risk involved, especially if you're taking care of somebody,
Oh yeah,
like that's like a completely different story. But for the most part, yeah, if it somehow works out in your favor, a lot of luck, a lot of just consistency and stuff. It, at least for me, it's been completely life changing. Not having to just, I don't know. I think the biggest thing is just not having a boss that. I mean, you could have a great boss for sure, but when you have never experienced a great boss and you just have like a guy telling you what to do all day, it's like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's kind of come full circle for me though. Like, I kind of miss that sometimes nowadays. Like, I've been missing being in a team or like someone like just kind of directing me a bit. And I feel like with what I've learned with video stuff recently, it would be kind of nice to like work on a bigger project with some other creators at some point, and like be a bit more responsible for other people than just myself.
Yeah.
I talk about it with Hootie sometimes and some other editors, like, oh, we should all come together and do something, but trying to organize it, it's just so difficult, and file sharing, and it would kind of be difficult to coordinate.
Yeah, that would definitely take a lot of like responsibility and a lot of coordination for sure. Those community things though that people have been doing, I mean, Eevescape and Hootie Tootie doing the speedrun cup and everything, like, and just getting a lot of people, Soup doing Gillinor games. Those events are always just so awesome, and like you just know how much work goes into it and how much headache probably. And I'm like, oh yeah. I don't think I'd want to do it, but it always does come out to just be a really cool thing. I do my you know what? I never really saw like the Sae Bae cast as anything like community. Really, I was like, oh, I just like talking to people. But I guess people have told me like it is sort of its own community event. Just
for sure.
Getting to hear about people. So
yeah, you've had so many people on now.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's weird.
I can't remember. I binge watched like a load of your binge listened, I guess, to a load of your podcasts recently, and I remember
you're just so sick of my voice. I'm just my audience. No, go ahead.
I remember you. I can't remember who you were speaking to. I think it was Will, and you were talking about solo mission being like your first kind of breakthrough.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like
so
after you said that, I went back to listen to that and just to see how like different things had changed. It's really cool.
Yeah. What did you think? Was there anything like in specific that had kind of changed, or just?
I feel like you're generally more comfortable.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, actually.
Yeah.
I think.
Do you feel like, because I think you mentioned that you felt like you were kind of like, oh, I have to kind of ask this person to come on, and I feel like I'm taking time away from them.
Yeah.
Has that changed now? Are you more like, oh, this is like good for both of us? This is gonna be a fun chat kind of thing. Is that like more the mindset now?
I think it's like getting bigger guests on. For example, Solo Mission, and then I got Foe on like recently after that, and then I got Rendy on, and like getting 3 like pretty big names. I feel like just gave me a big boost of confidence. Like, okay, like, and they would be very polite and very just like open, saying like, hey, this is like a cool thing to do. And they would be like really, like, I wouldn't have to try to get it out of them. They would just openly say like, this is an awesome thing that you're doing. And like that changed my mindset. And then of course, I think the biggest guest, obviously having Bodhi on, you know, like once you have Bodhi on, it's like, okay, I feel pretty confident now, like being able to get, and just like, I know that sounds a little maybe like arrogant or something, but just the fact that I can now say like, okay, like if I were to reach out to somebody and they have no idea what the Sae Bae cast is, but they're like a RuneScape creator or whatever, and I could just list off some names of people that have been on it, and being able to list Bodhi gives me a lot of credit, you know? So it's like, I don't have to be like, oh, I've had these 5 people on, like, they're complete no names, you know? Like, that's just how the world works. It's like you want to have recognizable names that have been on it, so you feel like, oh, like this is like a thing people do. So I feel like just getting bigger names on just really helps with my confidence of being able to go out and ask people to be on it. Because for so long it was like, this is so awkward. Right, especially when you've only done like 10 or 15 episodes, and you're like, hey, you want to be on my little podcast? Like this.
I've kind of like, Zoe has been like, oh, you need to get on it to me for a while, and I was like, oh, should I DM him? I don't know what to do. It's the same with like Twitter, I feel as well. It's like, do I follow, like, should I follow this person? Like, oh, are we gonna be friends or not? I don't know why I'm so stupid like that, but
no, it's really flattering when people are like wanting to be on it, and they'll even like, some people will even ask, and that's totally appropriate, by the way. Some people are like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are just like, I'm gonna wait to get invited to anything. And I'm just mentioning the Sae Bae cast for right now, but it's like, dude, the people that have reached out to me, get on it. It's just like a fact, because I'm willing to talk to people. I'm not like, oh, you asked me? Okay, that's weird. I'm not gonna have you. It's like,
Mm.
no,
That
you.
that's what makes a good podcast, though. Like the willingness to want to talk to everybody is great.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. I guess we'll kind of continue with that last thing, and then I want to hit on one topic from Blueberry that's asking about your favorite raid out of 1, 2, and 3 now. But I guess we'll kind of finish up with your origin story. So going from 2015 to 2022, what have you noticed? What have you seen as a creator, or what have you I don't know, I don't really know how to word this, but like what growth have you seen in yourself from content creation for like 7 years now? I
Uh,
guess.
I'm more confident. Like I was like a bit of a late developer in life. Like I couldn't tie my shoelaces till I was like 10. And I didn't even talk properly until I was like 4 or 5, which is really late.
Is that? I feel like I was expecting you to say like 12 or something. 4 or 5
Oh
sounds
no.
about right, but okay.
I think like girls for some reason just like are born and they're instantly like talking, whereas guys are like a bit late. But I felt
Oh,
like I was just
interesting.
like more late talking, and
Okay.
so I was so shy before I started content creation. Like I would like talk to people and get flustered and trip over my own words. I
Hmm.
feel like in terms of communication, it's made me like a lot better. So I'm thankful for that.
That's cool.
Um, the freedom as well. It's like I'm free to be creative, and I had such a bad experience at school. I was told like I can't do 3D design or art or anything, and that's like what I really wanted to do.
Dang, that's cruel. Like
And
by other students?
no, just because I was failing like English and math
Oh,
at the time,
jeez.
so I just wasn't really allowed to do what I wanted to do. Um, so yeah, like honestly, like even though I started streaming as an adult and started content creation as an adult, I feel like I can be myself doing it,
Yeah.
which is really really great.
Dang, it's crazy how those interactions you have as a kid can really mess with you. I mean,
Mm.
I experienced a little bit of bullying, like not even bullying, but just remarks that people like. I'm a pretty sensitive guy, I would say, like probably above average sensitivity. And so if like I just remember like specific instances in middle school that I could literally like reenact almost because they're so heavily ingrained in my brain of people being like extremely rude,
Yeah,
to me, and it just like ate me up inside because it was like the first time I experienced. In elementary school, everyone's just like a kid and having fun, like everyone's innocent. But then as soon as you hit like middle school, people are like the most cruel
yeah,
people on
for
earth.
sure, man.
They just like don't care about feelings or anything. So yeah, it's crazy how like childhood experiences can really mess with your brain and outlook on life, kind of. But
Mm.
that's cool that you.
Makes you stronger, I guess, though,
Yeah, for sure.
or it makes you an Iron Man.
Yeah. Or an ultimate if you go like really. No, I'm kidding. Um, so here's a good question because we have now experienced all 3 raids.
Mm.
Blueberry Central asks favorite raid on OSRS. So what is your experience with Cox and Tob? Have you done like a significant
Awful.
amount?
Nope. So I just never was a raider
Mm-hmm.
until recently. Like my favorite boss is Fasani's Nightmare, and my second
Yes.
favorite is Corrupted Gauntlet.
Okay. So you're a
So like
soloer, kind of like you're.
yeah,
Yeah.
I've always played main, kind of like I've had like plenty of Iron Men in the past, like hardcores and stuff, but like I don't like being responsible for other people.
Yep.
Like I find that tough. So raiding, like, I never really was a big fan. But having said that, about a month ago, um, some of my friends were like, "You got to do CMs. Like, you're gonna prefer it to normal raids because like your inventory just like as long as your inventory is perfect, everything just falls into place, and it's all the same thing over and over again, and you'll end up enjoying it more." And that's exactly what happened. Like, I just started to really like CMs.
Mm.
Um, and then and then Jagex asked me to do the trailers, and I haven't done a CM in like 3 weeks. But I just I just really started to like CMs, and I feel like Chambers' Eric is gonna be my favorite of the three.
Really?
Tob, yeah, I think it
Okay.
will be.
Okay.
Yeah, I do like the new one. Like, I have to say, I like the new one more than Tob because I've now done more TOAs than Tobs.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
what about TOB makes it like your least favorite?
I just don't like stream. I never liked streaming it.
Okay.
I just because there's just some people that all they do is Tob, and
Yes.
they would come into the chat and like they'd be like, well,
Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing the speed
yeah.
run method? Why aren't you doing that? Yeah.
And I got to a point where like, I could just about like I could run webs, and I knew how to tick 8 the ball at so all those things had like come to me, but it was just like most people can't do that, but still you would stream it and people would like be on you about things.
Oh yeah.
And I just didn't enjoy it. I know it's stupid to be like, oh yeah, you shouldn't.
It's
you shouldn't,
not
like,
stupid. It's like it's
listen
annoying.
to people like that,
yeah.
but it would just make me salty, and then I'd only be able to do like 2 hours because I'd overthink and get exhausted.
Dude, real talk, when I think about backseaters and when I think about newer players that are getting into content that people have been milking for 5 years or like, 4 years or so, like when people do I mean, I think TOB is the greatest example because there are streamers that like exclusively just raid all day and it's usually just TOB like over and over and over and over and over. You got people that like live and breathe TOB, and so when any new player comes, by the way, for those that do grind, every single person almost, unless you're like Wook's level, struggled with TOB initially. Like really struggled because it is very difficult initially. Now, muscle memory comes into play 4 years later, but when new players are intimidated to go in, and then you got like your sub 100 KC and people are telling you to do like speed run stretch, like dude, like I have not spent much time doing this. Like, Jesus. It almost makes me feel bad for newer players in general. I mean, when I think of... I hate to use... I don't know. I guess I'll just bring up Q-Neeks. I don't think he'll mind. But Q-Neeks 2 years ago wasn't great at the game because he was new to it, Like, yes, he had played it, but he had never, like, pushed himself to do it. He had never had, like, a good enough account to, like, go raid and stuff. So, I will say right now, Q-Neeks is a total gamer now. He's spent a lot of time improving. But for the most part, he just felt like he was so far behind other creators in that. And that's just got to be, like, a stressful point to be at. Because I feel like I started streaming and I was already, like, ahead of the game. But damn, if I had just started playing the game, I feel like I would have almost not progressed as fast because I would have almost gotten, like, pissed off at people trying to tell me to get better or something.
It's great. Like, I think you can tell I can personally tell when I watch a streamer and see how they deal with that. I kind of like know who's gonna make it. Like Zoe, for example, she was just relentless with her Inferno Cape, and I was just like, she's gonna make this, like, because of her relentlessness. And Q-Neeks is probably the same. I don't get to watch him much. I've watched a few of his streams though, and it's good to know that he's improved a lot.
Oh, he goes so hard. Like, he cares about improving. He wants to be good at the game. And I feel like a lot of new creators that, watch Bodhi and stuff and get to see a perfect mixture of entertainment, humor, gameplay, like, it's just like you got like the trifecta going, And a lot of people really want that because some streamers really love to just chill out. And like for most gamers, I feel like the vast majority, people just want a game to relax and not stress out about trying to get better at stuff. But like, I don't know.
That's the amazing thing about RuneScape though. Is like there's so much to do and you can relax.
Yep.
Like even skilling. Sometimes I love to just like do some 3-tick eat fishing.
Oh yeah.
So that my brain can just like, it's almost like meditation. You're in the zone, just doing the same thing. And like, when I was doing my group hardcore, I saw your guide on crafting, on making molten glass.
Okay.
Because one of my friends was like, oh, you need to check out Sae Bae's molten glass making guide. Like you don't even pick up the glass, you just kind of like smash it in the bank.
Yeah.
and you go, I can't remember what bank it was. I think it was like the pirate bank in like where you do cabin fever or something. And yeah, I just like got into the rhythm of that, and I just started to enjoy the game in different ways because you can just let your brain go.
Yeah. I'm you know what? That makes me happy that you say that, because I feel like it is kind of unpopular to even give any good remarks to skilling. I feel like there's a big community that just hates skilling. Like
If I didn't content create, I would be a skiller.
yeah, I feel like
Hands
I
down.
almost would too. It took a lot out of me to it took a lot to get out of my comfort zone and to start raiding. I remember with Chambers release, even Inferno, I was like, I will never step into the Inferno when it was released. When Chambers came out, I was like, there's no way I don't even have gear for this. Like, I'm just gonna avoid it. I'm just, it really took a big leap of not faith, but just a big leap for me to get into PVM. And I feel like for most players, if you're not a super adventurous kind of person, and I feel like there's a lot of introverts that play OSRS, it's tough to like take that leap and just, I don't know, just experience something new. That's difficult. But
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Chambers. Was it Will that said Chambers is like
Smash Bros. Yeah.
And he even said when we were comparing TOB and Chambers, he's like, Chambers is like what noobs like, and then TOB is like the chat or like the Giga Chads or whatever. But then Chambers is like Galaxy Brain because it goes back, it eventually goes back.
Yeah, that's so true. I feel like that's so true.
I wonder what TOA is gonna end up being, because honestly, my opinion of TOA is it is like what you said. It's like flawless. It's so good. We don't know the drop rates yet, so we don't really know like everything of how efficient certain team sizes are and how efficient like the raid levels are. But it just feels so cool that you can go in, everybody's enjoying themselves because you can just customize it however you want. Then you can learn the rooms and improve it. Like, oh, okay, I could turn this one on. It's just like they nailed it. I feel like it's just so good. And I honestly feel like Raids 3 is the best raid by far, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. It would be interesting. Like, I don't know if you saw the Akka pathing strat.
Oh, I saw that with the shadow. I think it's only with a 5-tick weapon.
Oh, really? Okay.
Going around in like a diamond, pretty much.
I feel like when more stuff comes out like that, it maybe it will have a mix of both Cox and Tob of like
the rhythm,
broken things that you can do to mix things up. But it is so flawless.
I really hope that they don't panic fix things. I don't think they will either. But when I think of like Akka being, oh, that's bug abuse or something, like being able to run around at a time, it's like, no, that's just things that should be in the game.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So
what are your thoughts on like I guess my least favorite is probably Barber, just because
same. Yeah.
I'm not really a Nilo guy.
I hate Nilo waves and I hate Baba waves. The saving grace is that it is a short room. You can make it in 3 minutes, So
yeah.
It's not like it doesn't feel like it's overly just like dragging on.
I like switching gear as well.
Yeah, it's not bad. The thing that bothers me is I don't know. I feel like the actual Baba room, like the boss room, can be really tilting because the 5 rocks that fall, you don't know which is the one that you can break until it's already like there. I wish there was an indicator while it's falling.
Right.
That would be like, okay, this is the one. And I honestly kind of wish, I don't know. It's just really tilting when you get like one rock and then the other one's like on the complete opposite side and you're like, okay, well, this just sucks. I don't know. It's like, it's just a little tilting because you just want to pass it. And I understand that's a mechanic. Like you're going to get RNG'd and just like have to wait a few waves, but like that kind of bothers. Also, okay, the banana peel invocation sucks and the pitfall sucks because like I didn't know what I was doing. I think I could probably do the pitfall one. The banana one's awful. It's just getting RNG'd. And then the thing that really bothers me is Baba moves exactly your same speed. So if you run, he'll run. So when he chucks a boulder at you and you have to get to the rock, he'll usually be right on you if you hit the rock and then immediately start attacking. But he he did a rock attack, and then he was following me as I ran to the rock or like the big boulder to, tank it. And then he summons a shadow attack. And whenever he summons a shadow attack, he stalls. He doesn't move to you.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I went back to click on him, and I just took like a 90 to the dome. And I'm like, okay, yeah, like
That's
just
such pain.
yeah. There's things like that where it's like, okay, this isn't a bad mechanic. I just have to learn it. I have to understand like, okay, don't take unnecessary risks.
Mm.
So
I love the way that room looks so much that like
cool.
I'm like I don't care if I get battered. I'm like, oh, it looks so good.
Did you ever play Crash Bandicoot?
A little bit. I was more of a Nintendo guy, but
Okay. Crash Bandicoot 3 had this fight that's very similar to Baba. Like it really, really, the color scheme of it kind of reminds me of it. Baba kind of looks like a lion in a way, and that's like the same kind of thing you're fighting. And then there's like, instead of boulders falling, 5 boulders, it's 5 lions that run at you in a certain like pattern. And I don't know, it's like really gave me nostalgia thinking about that fight. I don't know. So I've also heard some strats for Kefri where venging is just insanely dominant. You just pretty much venge everything, and you do it like one of your first rooms or something, and you just smash it because it literally takes full venge damage or something. So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Oh, I need to look up on that. I'm in a bit of an echo chamber right now. I just like, I don't know why. I normally, whenever things come out, I normally watch a lot of Twitch, but I've just kind of been stuck in my Discord.
Yeah,
Of like my clan's Discord, just bouncing off information and being on voice that I just haven't been watching as much Twitch.
Yeah, I uploaded a video of me doing my first expert run. I had no idea what I was doing. Like, I literally didn't understand mechanics of rooms. So for like the final boss, part 1, I'm in a solo and I'm just tanking the orbs just nonstop because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't understand mechanics because I haven't like gone in and asked streamers. I was just like, oh, I saw some streamers hitting some orbs. Maybe I'm just supposed to do that the whole time. I have no idea. So I got so many comments, and I still am getting comments like, dude, you don't know what you're doing. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't know what I was doing. I know now, but like, Jesus. So
yeah, I need to scrub up a bit on the information side of things.
Same.
That's what I love so much. It's so fun to be so practical and figure things out. So
yeah, for sure. Haley asks, how many hours? Okay, so I'll read all of these and then I'll let you go at it. How many hours do you spend editing per video typically? How do you stay motivated / inspired to put out such creative content? And or do you ever wish you could publish something less edited but feel pressure to meet the standards you've set? Can't wait to listen. So yeah. So I guess we'll start with the first one. How many hours do you typically put in?
It all depends on whether I want to learn something new. In terms of editing, so like anything I made in January, February, March, or April of this year probably took like a week to make per video. So, and that's like sort of 10 hours a day.
Jesus. So you're talking like 70 hours or like 50? Like, do you work every day, like on videos?
Yeah, mostly. It really, but like, there's such a drastic fall off, and if I don't learn anything new. So like my last 3 videos, people have been saying, "Oh, this, I really like this part," but I've not actually learned anything new for it. So it's taken me far less time to make. Just the more comfortable I am with software, the easier it is. But if I want to do something like in my next TOA video I have planned, I want to like summon the warden, but like with procedural particles. And it's like, okay, if I want to do that, I'm gonna have to figure out a way to make that look nice and learn it. And I know that's just gonna take me like half a day.
Yeah.
So anything I want to learn, I just have to consider and add to it. Like, I guess for the TOA trailers, because I managed to release a video the same month that I did the trailers. Like the Akka one took me the longest because I had to learn so much for it, and then I kind of like reused a lot of parts of that for the other trailers. So like the Baba one, I messed up really badly. I was gonna have like a storyline for it, and I like got the lore really wrong, so I had to like do it from scratch. Um, and it didn't take me that long because I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna have to use like other things that I used in the previous ones. So
Okay.
yeah, just any time I'm learning something new, that's what takes the longest.
Yeah, but then it's like one of your new tools that you have that's going to be easier later.
Yeah,
Very cool.
yeah, for sure.
How do you stay motivated and inspired to put out such creative content? And again, going back to my question I asked earlier, like, do you feel the pressure of having to meet a certain standard every video?
Um, I have done at times, but normally no. Like I don't tend to feel that much pressure. I'm very selfish with how I make my videos. Like I'm kind of, I guess I'm lucky to have this mindset, but it's like I kind of make edits for myself, and I have this agreement with myself where like if no matter how much I don't like something I've made, I need to put it out there. Otherwise, I can't carry on doing this.
Uh-huh.
So sometimes I make things and I hate it, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna have to find a home for this in a video. It happens a lot.
Yeah.
And then, but yeah, I feel like the motivation comes from just like, mainly just like, oh, I just want a sequence to match this thing in the game that I'm doing, and just loving the game so much really helped. If I didn't like the game, I would hate it, honestly.
Yeah.
So I think it's just like the love for the game and enjoying what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It was different with Group Iron. With Group Iron, I felt a bit more responsible for like my teammates as well, and they were like so excited to see their progress and like what
Yeah.
I'd made in that month that it felt like really nice to do for that reason.
That's true.
But yeah.
Cool. Speaking of Group Iron Man, what are your thoughts on that game mode?
I like it's such a shame because I feel like in general people were kind of a bit burnt out of seeing hardcore, but also not. Like you can't say that. I hate saying definitive things like that, like, oh, people are burnt out of hardcore, because like obviously they're not. You see people like
I don't know. I kind of agree with your first sentiment on that. I do think like we had 5 years of hardcore, and it's kind of like, all right, we're not as excited about it. And clearly, there's still some excitement to it, but like not
sure,
not as crazy.
It's like I feel like if the right person's doing it though and they love it, then it's fine. Like Mutz, for example, he's on his like 17th or whatever.
He lives and breathes hardcore, yeah.
And like he's got to a point now where I don't think people question him anymore. Whereas like they would, like by number 5 or number 6, he was kind of like the brunt of a joke, like like another hardcore. But like the guy clearly thrives the game mode, and therefore everyone's just accepted it now, and that's like his thing. And like Torves is doing his hardcore PvP guy, and like that, like people are like, okay, this is acceptable. I love this content. He knows what he's doing. He wants to do this.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like I started a group Iron Man with my friends, and I was just kind of messing about, and it's like we clearly enjoyed this more than my audience enjoyed this. Like my audience really wanted to see my whole pet thing, my in-depth for a pet thing, and I was like, I just didn't want to do it. I wanted to try the group Iron thing. And so for content creation wise, like I just don't feel like it's for everyone, and it shouldn't be. But if you're enjoying it yourself and you're having a great time, then go ahead. But it just felt so dry for me after a while.
Yeah.
For that reason, just
what are your thoughts on? And I know I'm kind of just like moving on from the question. I hope you feel like we kind of answered the question from Haley.
Yeah, sure.
Because I'm moving on. But what do you think about a new game mode in general coming out? Like, do you think there's too many right now? We got what? Iron Man, Hardcore, Ultimate, Group, Iron Man, and Group Hardcore. Is there anything else? I think that's pretty much it.
Everything's kind of, you can tell with like, what is it, the green Group helmet Iron Man? Where like...
Oh, yeah, the unofficials.
Yeah,
right,
like that. The bridge is so close now to like just being main game or just being iron. There's like there's no, everything's all kind of the same anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
for, sure.
for me personally, like
about that.
I have a decent Iron Man. It's like over 2K total, but I feel like I would only enjoy it if it was like my most completed account now, because that's what I want to do. I want to have an account where I fill in collection log slots, and I feel like it's like a trophy account. And I know that I'm not going to have a trophy account by having like a group of hardcore with an Inferno cape. It's just not something I'm going to do. Therefore, like, completionism stuff's the thing I want to do. But I do feel like everything's kind of so similar right now that if there was a new game mode, it would have to be something so different for me to probably jump into it.
Are there any ideas that you have for like something you would like to play?
Not really. Like I'm not like this whole fresh world thing. I don't think I'm a huge fan of.
Yeah, not really.
I feel like it could bring value to some slice of the player base, but I just feel like it's going to burn people out way more than, like Leagues comes around and people burn out of the game after Leagues because everything's on steroids. I feel like it will be the same. Like like a lot of people will play this Fresh Worlds and then they'll get burnt out because the high scores are integrated back into the normal game.
Yeah. Fresh Start Worlds is kind of I understand the appeal for. I would understand a Fresh Start World for like a player that had like a gambling addiction and they staked all their bank away and they're just waiting for like a fresh start that they can just like relax for. But the dual arena isn't a thing anymore, so it's like not really I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
I just remember back in the day, back in like 2017 and stuff, where like staking streams were everywhere, and I just remember I feel like there was a big sentiment to just have like a kind of restart, and so like those new game modes like hardcore and stuff were like really good for a lot of people that were just burnt from the main and just pretty much playing it to stake and just lost complete enjoyment out of it. My personal take is Fresh Start Worlds is kind of going to be a flop. People will still log in because content creators will do it, obviously, because it's a new hype thing. And so other people will play it. I doubt they'll play it for long term because, it's not accelerated XP rates. It's literally just the same game with a fresh economy that's going to end at some point. And it's like, okay. But Mithril Man mode, and I know you were just you were just talking about how like pretty much the game modes are kind of blending into each other. It just feels like nothing's really unique. But Mithril Man mode is basically just a giant group Iron Man. It's you can only trade with other Mithril Men. So you can't use the Grand Exchange. You can't trade other players. You can't boss with other players because you wouldn't get the drop because you're still kind of an Iron Man. But you can boss with Mithril Men. And you would all split like the drop. So you could all like go mass something if you're all Mithril Men and you all, can share it or whatever. But that's kind of the idea behind it, is an idea of there is no Grand Exchange. So you kind of have your own fresh economy. You're still playing with everybody else in the same worlds, but you only associate with other Mithril Men. So there's bound to be like Falador Park, where all the Mithril Men gather up and trade and stuff. Or
oh, cool, right? Yeah,
it probably wouldn't be quite as nostalgic as I'm imagining. There'll probably just be some RuneLite plugin that's just like all the trades for Mithril Men. Like, here you go. So like nobody actually. But the idea of it would be kind of to relive that nostalgia of no Grand Exchange, but they're still trading, but only with certain people. I don't know.
What if that was just like you had your own server? Though, so like say you could buy a server off Jagex.
I'm not gonna lie, that
limited amount of time,
that kind of stuff is very controversial. I don't know how I feel about it. I haven't weighed the pros and cons of just like completely segregating like other players into their own world. I don't know. It's like,
I think Matt K was really into that at one point. He wanted to have like kind of, is it Roblox or Roblox? I always say it wrong.
Roblox.
Yeah, like you could kind of have your own clan servers, and you'd pay Jagex money to like rent the whole server.
That'd be kind of interesting. But so it would be still like Jagex run. It would just be like you're paying for your own like server. So there's no like cheating or hacking or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't think they would. I think anything would go on it, right?
Oh, like, okay. So it's literally like a private server, like of your own.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I will say, though, if Jagex were to come out with, and I know people aren't terribly excited about this, I don't think anybody, there is a very niche part of the player base that would be into a new reset of 2013, old school, like back what we had in February 2013 with no other content updates.
Right.
I just feel like I don't know. My opinion is Mithril Men mode would be great. I would even think it would be kind of cool to have a Mithril Man mode that's... It wouldn't even be Mithril Man mode at that point. It would just be no Grand Exchange main man mode on a new server with no other players besides you guys. I don't know. There is a little bit of excitement to that, but again, it's just kind of separating people. And now there's another game basically that's like old school, or RS3. I don't know.
I had a chat with a JMod about the fresh start worlds, and I think they seemed to be quite surprised that I wasn't a big fan. And but I was thinking, like, if they took away the GE and made everyone trade again, like, there would be some kind of more interest from me.
I agree.
But again, like, I don't know.
Like, that's still not enough to like drop everything and play it.
I feel like for a lot of existing players, they want that one killer thing about it to be tempted over.
Yeah.
Because, like, say if that was the case, maybe I would just make like a fishing ult on it, and, like, you know, provide the economy with some fish and like trade it old school, and I'd get some enjoyment out of that, and I could make a narrative about it in my like main series videos, like, oh, here's what I've been doing on my fishing guy that's been selling lobsters in Varrock Square, and then I could like swap I assume they're gonna allow swapping, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, they'd have to, I think.
Yeah. So
it'd be impossible to enforce to not, swap.
Yeah. I don't know. The game's a social game. Maybe some people find something to do in it, and it blows up.
Yeah.
I don't want to like rule it off as being like a completely terrible thing just yet, but it's definitely something I'm not interested in playing.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I think you have a really good idea of what Fresh Start Worlds could be. First of all, personally, I feel like if Fresh Start Worlds don't have any accelerated XP, which I'm actually for completely, I just don't want it to end. It's like a weird balance of like, I don't want to separate people from like the rest of the community, but at the same time, it's really pointless to just have a small window to play and just like, oh well, I give up because it's all gonna be blended in eventually. But I'm not gonna lie, if it was everything that the game has right now, with a permanent server that's no Grand Exchange, that would be pretty exciting. I'm not gonna lie, I'd probably hop on that simply because of what you just said, like being able to kind of hoard things. There's no Grand Exchange. Like, I think I would get really into collecting Third Age on a brand new server and just like, I don't know, everyone's a main, no Grand Exchange. There's a lot of excitement with, pursuing your own little path and, I don't know, being able to collect things. I don't know. That does sound exciting to me. And just even having an alt do something.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the fact that everything that gets ported into the main game after means that they cannot add anything. They can only take away.
Yeah, true.
But then they want to use this to get new people in, so therefore they can't take away. Yeah. So it's just, I think it is what it is, and it will go out, and it's a great way for them to do some marketing as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, they'll be like, hey, like, it's a reboot, it's a relaunch, get back, get your friends together, old school nostalgia, and everyone will be like, oh yeah, like, as in the people who don't play every day like me and you.
I know. Sometimes I forget, like, there's people that only play a couple hours a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It will be interesting nonetheless.
Yeah. Okay, here's a topic from PLM. He asks, how did you get into 3D making Blender? How do you feel about ending IDFAP? Did you feel more of a relief or not?
I'll start. As we're talking about the game, I'll start with the IDFAP question first. Did I feel relief? Kind of. Like, I've never I think a lot of people think that I enjoyed doing that series more than anything else I've done, just because, like, of the drama. I'm not a very excitable guy. You can't really hear much excitement in my voice sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, my reactions for drops are kind of shit most of the time. So I feel like because everything was on the line, you kind of got to see that side of me, and I think people really liked that it was kind of all or nothing. I miss it sometimes, but I just hate the jewelry, And now, like, one of the big reasons why earlier we were talking about how I've hardly done any raids was because I played an account for 5 years that never had more than 750 mil for more than a week straight. Like I just didn't have the gear to do any kind of efficient PVM.
Yeah.
And now that I have an account where I can, I've just started to notice I'm like not as bad as at the game that I thought I would be at. You know, like my in-depth accomplishments just simply come down to like, okay, I could get a Inferno Cape without a T-bow, but no one wants to raid with me because I don't have a T-bow or a scythe or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a huge relief to be able to just jump into any piece of content that I want to. But I miss the drama a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it really does feel good when you have absolute max stats and you have absolute max gear going into content because, yeah, I mean, I'm already seeing, like, Adicon, for example, is running TOA, but he has, like, the Shadow, full Masori, Light Bearing, Osmompton. He's got, like, everything, so it seems like he is very talented. I'm not discrediting that in any way, but, like, just the fact that he does have absolute max, and you got a lot of people that are, like, going, and I've seen people wearing mystics and stuff going, and I'm like, yeah, it's like, it's gonna be a lot more challenging without like just beastly gear. I really want a Shadow, by the way. I think
they're so cool,
sick.
man.
Oh, are you using one, by the way?
I have used one, but
how much are those
not
going for right now?
1.825, I think, right now.
Sheesh, that's so dope. They seem so common too. I don't know. Maybe it's just because everyone's doing TOA. That must be it.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I when I first saw the animation for it, I was like, am I allowed to see this? And when I saw it, I was like, oh, this thing is so cool.
Yeah.
And like when I playtest as well, I think it was like best at like Zebak, and now I think it's actually T-bow and but oh man, it shreds.
Yeah,
I've only used it within the raid, but it just shreds.
It looks so fun and so consistent. The accuracy is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited to get one. But okay, what how do you feel about getting into 3D making in Blender? I know we kind of already briefly talked about that.
Yeah.
But yeah. If there's anything else.
Yeah, I guess I think it's something I'll tell a quick story that only a few of my close friends know. I'm not going to name any names.
Okay.
But RuneFest 2019, there was only like one or two people. I think it was literally just Lil Smokey actually making RuneScape Blender edits.
Mm-hmm.
And this wasn't Smokey who said this to me, but it was someone else who I looked up to. And they said to me, if you don't get into RuneScape Blender, you're not gonna, like, your editing is gonna go so like far backward, like you're gonna have to keep up, and everyone's gonna get into it, and you're gonna be left behind. So you should probably get into it. And I was just thinking like it didn't make me want to do it. In my head I was like, this person is wrong.
Yeah.
And they are still wrong. Like I don't think you need to you don't need to be a 3D artist to make enjoyable RuneScape videos at all. But it just it was Nilki actually who put out some videos, and I watched them and I was like, this is actually, I think, a lot easier to learn than After Effects and like any other software that I currently was using to make videos. So that's like how I got into it, was mainly because of Nilki, and Hootie as well.
They are both just so freaking talented.
Yeah, Hootie and Nilki were just like the two that I looked at and I was like, these guys are making really high quality stuff, and they're also helping people out and making it easier. Especially Nilki. Like Nilki renders in like Eevee in Blender, which is like the less process heavy rendering engine that's very accessible to use. And like the things she can do with it to make things look good is really difficult, because I'm not really a fan of Eevee renders. I feel like a lot of the game kind of looks like shadowy and blocky, and I just don't really like that kind of style. But I don't know what Nelky's doing to make everything look vibrant and lively. But yeah, like her stuff really got me thinking about getting into it.
Interesting. Yeah, when I saw Hootie Tootie's speedrun trailer, that I don't know, that was just unbelievable. I'm like,
Yeah.
one person did this and he was learning it while he made it. Like,
Oh yeah.
that's crazy. I wonder, I know I was talking to Hootie about it. I wonder if anybody will ever make like a straight up like Blender RuneScape film, like something that's like an hour long or something, you know, like
I spoke about it with Ingus,
yeah.
and it's like this sounds so ridiculous, but I don't think anyone wants to try it because of how long it would take and
Oh yeah.
how much love you'd want to put into it. You'd want like a year's worth of money behind you to like consider doing it, and then even then it might be a flop. It's just such a big risk. Like you have to fund it somehow, otherwise no one's going to be able to eat food.
Yeah,
Because
that's
everything in Blender takes so long, especially if you're like rendering in a certain engine and I don't know.
yeah,
Like
Hootie
a whole film would just be horrible to make, I think.
yeah, Hootie was just saying how many hours that would take, and yeah, like he would basically have to receive like a full salary to like
Yeah.
be able to just solo make an entire full length
Oh
Blender
yeah.
film thing. So
Yeah, for sure. It would be stressful.
yeah, that's it is really cool though, just like the amount of talent that there really is in the old school community. It really like is pushing other creators to do more.
Mm.
So
I feel like old school actually helps accelerate creativeness in that it's such a simple game and there's lots of matte textures and lots of hard edges, and because of that everything's a little bit easier to edit. I've edited other games for people like League, and it's just I start editing things for people and I'm like, how on earth, like why is this not working when it normally works on RuneScape? And it's because like RuneScape's vibrant, there's like obvious colors, everything's kind of obviously there, lots of matte textures and lots of hard edges. You can just like apply things like so much easier. And then RuneLite as well. Like RuneLite's just such a game changer if you want to get into RuneScape editing, because you can just dump anything out of the game into a object file.
yeah.
If you want to go down that route.
Okay, here is a really cool little tweet from Yoda's Yoda. He says, guest I am most excited about, and that says a lot about Tom. Listen to every cast so far. So hype. He's a big fan of yours.
Oh, I love Yoda. He's like rank 2 collection log iron, I think.
He is insane with the collection log. He used to be rank 1, but yeah, who was the other guy? Ruse or Ruzy or something? There's some other guy that's rank 1 now, and he's
Okay.
just dominating, but yeah. He asks, how was the process of making the 4 insane boss trailers for Jagex? We already touched on that briefly, but if you want to go into it a little bit more. Would love a plug-in third-party client RuneLite discussion. And how was TOA released for you? Again, we've already briefly touched on that. The second one's the most new topic, I guess. So, but if there's anything for the first and third you want to mention first.
Me and Yoda have become good friends recently. We hang out on the same CC, so I think the second questions might be a little bit loaded because I really hated third-party clients. I was very, very much against them. I didn't even like the HD plugins or anything like that. I was kind of like I liked keeping things very vanilla.
Very pure, like a purist.
Yeah, I just didn't want to have to use tile markers because I was like, if I use tile markers, I can't edit the way I want to edit.
Yeah.
They get in the way. But like, I've changed my mind a lot recently on it. Since the ban as well. Since they started banning like people using Open and Bickus and stuff like that. I feel like I'm slightly less irate about third party clients, but yeah, I had some hot takes on them before that I would get a bit of flame for, but
so what are your takes now on it? Like what do you think about the whole decision to integrate RuneLite and stuff?
I've not even laid a single tile marker at TOA yet, even though like since I started doing CM chambers and like solo chambers. Like I've obviously laid a few tile markers down, and I used what did I use true tile for? Oh, 9-0 Bandos.
Yeah.
Like I my behavior was just stubborn. I think like I really enjoyed 9-0 Bandos, and it's like if I didn't have the tile markers on, I wouldn't have been able to do it. So I've kind of like accepted that that's part of the game now, and I felt
Yeah.
like a bit of an old man yelling at the clouds. But
Nah, I think for everyone, like there's just a way that we play. Like every player has their own way of playing, and we kind of get pigeonholed into that, and we think like that's I don't know, because I used to be really against certain plugins and stuff, but like I just realized, well, first of all, I would hate to play RuneScape if we were on vanilla, like pure vanilla. You know what I'm talking about, like the normal
that would
Jagex
be
launcher. Like
Yeah.
that would I don't even think I could play this game at this point. So I understand plugins are super super nice. I have my own clear biases with things that I don't use. Like if there's a plugin I don't use, I'm like, oh, we don't need that one. But then like as soon as I start using it, I'm like, yeah, I actually want that one. So I'm like, I don't know. But I think what they've done with integrating RuneLite and just completely banning all third-party clients was like the most just perfect move by Jagex. Like everything,
for sure. Yeah.
everything has just over the past year, it was like so stressful. Like they were trying to ban 117, which I don't personally use the HC thing, but I think it's totally fine for other people to enjoy it.
It's a nice touch, yeah.
Yeah, but them fully having RuneLite backed by Jagex and like having all other clients bannable, so it's like you feel like you're not being, I don't know. There is something that comes with RuneScape when you start quote unquote competing in a way, like for anything. If you know you're trying to play with some sort of competition in mind, but then you got people that are literally just blatantly cheating all the time. It's like,
yeah. I saw I could start to tell as well, like how things were edited in certain videos to hide things. I can't flame people for using what was that thing? What's that? Like the party? It's called Party plugin on RuneLite, but there was like a name for it.
like, are you talking about like for TOB?
Yeah.
What was it called again? It was because I never personally used it, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Socket.
That's the one. Yeah. Yeah, I could tell when like people were using that and like masks over vengeance tables and stuff, but like I just feel and like some people would like upload videos of 6 jazz and it's like, oh, suddenly you're at the end. It's like, okay. So when I started doing my combat achievement diaries, I was so frustrated. I was like,
oh, that would be
people are obviously doing that, and I kind of wanted to do it as well, but also like I have like this ego problem with pride. Like I'm proud of myself to not have to use it.
I luckily there was never anything that you absolutely had to use. Like for example, like the speed runs weren't too crazy where you have to like enter Nilos at the perfect tick and things like that. Like I've never actually used any cheat clients ever. I've literally only logged into OS Buddy and RuneLite on this account, and like I'm just glad that they finally made a stance. But they've also added some of the nice OP plugins that originally were just for the cheat clients, like Entity Hider stuff. Like that's so nice.
Yeah, that's been great. I actually used Open for entity hiding.
Yeah, it's so good. It's like there was just certain things where it's like, why is this bannable? Like especially when it came to like left click pickpocketing, I got actually so pissed off one day. I was just like, why is this still a bannable offense to left click pickpocket? Like, are you seriously demanding your players right click every single time?
They couldn't tell if anyone was doing it.
Exactly. So I just felt it was the worst for me because I knew every other player that wasn't a content creator was just actively left click pickpocketing, and I had to do double the clicks with right click. And I'm just like, this is so stupid.
Yeah, it's so good that they've sorted it out now. Yes. Actually there was a time one of my biggest clips on Twitch was me getting really angry at runecrafting because I did 92 to 99 runecraft at Lava Dragons just as they banned AHK and they didn't have shift click.
Oh wait, at the lava altar, like you're crafting lava runes?
Yeah.
Oh, you said lava
So
dragons. I was like,
oh,
what are we
sorry,
talking
I'm an
about?
idiot. I did lava runes when they had just banned
Oh
AHK
God,
and there
yeah.
was no shift click, so I had to like
Ugh.
manually click all my pouches,
Yeah.
and I like misclicked a pouch 3 times and just threw my mouse at a wall. And it's like one of my biggest clips. And like as soon as I got 99 runecraft, they released shift click, and I was like, oh,
Oh,
this
that's so
this
tilted.
is the inevitable path they'll go down. People will keep cheating and making programs and adding programs, and then they'll ban them, and then Jagex will add them to the native game or
Yeah.
whatever. And I feel like that's just going to continue. Next year there'll be something that people are like really pissed off about, and it will take them ages to figure it out, and then they'll ban it, and then they'll add it to the game.
Yeah.
I feel
I
like it's a cycle at this point.
I feel like that was more of a cycle. I'm more optimistic now that it won't be as bad.
Hmm.
I feel like they're way more lenient on what can come into the game. For example, GE Challenge made a plugin called Path Marker,
Okay.
and it literally like shows exactly where you'll be standing for like wherever you clicked. It's going to show every true tile you're going to touch on,
Ooh.
which is just
Okay.
so busted. Like
That's
it's
good for mazes, I guess.
yeah. No, it's like it's so good, but I honestly feel like where is the line at this point cuz
Mm,
I love the plugin. Don't get me wrong. I don't want it to be bannable, but I could see it being against the rules because it's so good. It's like,
right.
where are we gonna draw the line? But
Yeah.
yeah,
There's something nice about like someone you gotta give it to Wooks. Like he has this stuff in his brain. Like he knows where his character's gonna path
yeah,
most
yeah.
of the time, and most people don't.
Mhm.
Like I don't know like if I've been talking to people. Some people don't think he's the best at PVM anymore, which is like such a contentious thing to say. But like I feel like if everyone had to play on vanilla, I think he would be like still far better than everyone else.
Yeah, I think that's a good take, because Wooks doesn't play 12 hours a day every day. He has like
Hmm.
a real life, and so he just comes on with content releases. And are this isn't even debatable at this point. I believe there are players that are better mechanically. But I will
Right.
say Wooks pioneers shit. He still does
Yes,
that,
exactly. Yeah.
where like most people will take months and months and months and months of practice, and then they're like surpassed Wooks because they just spent so much time. But Wooks on release of things will just start picking it up and just dominating.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, no, I mean, have you ever seen Port Kazard? Like his
Yeah,
achievements?
he's nuts. The Zuck thing he did with the no like where he was just waiting to eat.
Yeah, that is
Just
like just not
man.
attacking Zook and just recoiling it down, basically.
Yeah.
Like that is so stupid, but so crazy talented to be able to
It's
pull
very
something like that
creative.
off.
I don't know how people think like that.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I've seen anything from Port Kazard on TOA yet, but I'm expecting something
Oh,
absolutely insane.
oh, there will be 100%.
I don't think full invocations is even a possibility to complete,
Hmm.
because you literally have to turn everything on, which includes the prayers not doing full protection, and you
Yeah.
can't bring food or potions, which makes literally no, like, how the hell are you supposed to do that unless there's like some bug that's like purple sweets are not considered food or something, which
You
isn't the
know, if
case.
anyone's going to do it, it's him though.
I know. I'm like looking forward to like a 500 raid or something. Like I
Yeah.
wonder what the absolute cap is of
Mm.
being able to get a completion. I'm really excited to see. I've done a
Yeah.
340 once, and I was about to get it twice, and then my PC crashed last night.
Ooh.
Dude, this is just a short little tangent. My PC crashed for the first time in since I've had this PC, and it was literally 15 seconds before the entire fight's over at a 340 raid. Yes,
No.
literally. I was on the final thing where you're just dodging the little black holes,
That sucks
and
so
my whole
much.
PC crashed. The OBS crashed everything. I'm like, are
Mm.
you? I literally was spent 6 hours that day trying to get one completion. That was going to be the completion, and it just got thrown. I'm like, I need to go to sleep. Like I was so pissed off. It was bad, but yeah, poor
Yeah,
Gazard's gonna do
that's
some crazy
annoying.
stuff. Yeah.
He will for sure. Yeah.
Um. Okay. Yeah. So I guess just finishing off that third-party client thing. I'm really happy with the state of the game and the state of third-party clients. I've never been a total purist with it. I think we're at just like the perfect stage where RuneLight's integrated with Jagex, and it's just it's a good
great.
system.
They even test on it now, which is interesting.
That's cool. Okay. I guess the other things we've kind of already covered. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on with questions 1 and 3, or we can kind of move on to the next topic?
Yeah, we'll move on. Let's move on.
Here's one from Nordstrand. He asks, what grind that is in your current plans are you looking forward to most? And he also asks, how does it feel to be on top of the throne of video creation?
I would say I'm most looking forward to combat achievements. I feel like I didn't think they would be doable, and I was just gonna start doing them. But I think now that I've experienced having GP in the game and being able to have any gear I want, I feel like it's gonna be doable.
Yeah.
And also like being inspired by Will as well. Like Will, when I first started watching Will, he was at Cerberus and he would like die a lot. And I don't even think he was using F keys.
He wasn't. He told me.
Yeah. And it's just like, it's so cool to watch people just flourish.
Yes.
And I find that shit so inspiring. So I know I can do it. It will just be a grind.
Yeah.
But a grind I will enjoy for sure.
It's a really fulfilling grind. It's almost like, well, first of all, I believe anybody can really do it if you have enough experience and you just practice.
And time, yeah.
Yeah, it really just is a bunch of practice. The Inferno ones the Inferno don't drop below 50 HP was probably the most annoying for me, because it's just like, it's so unintuitive. Like you're
Right,
not
yeah.
ever trying to do that, so it's just weird. But yeah, once you decide you're gonna go for Grandmaster, there's a lot of tedious things you just need to do, but you just do it. Don't think about how many you have left. Just do one by one, and then eventually you'll be like 20 away, and then it's like, okay, let's just grind out these 20. And dude, that final feeling of getting that Zuck helm is really good. It's better than getting like your first Infernal Cape. It's just,
Oh, really?
It's a great feeling, man.
Yeah, I don't think nothing's topped that so far, like my first cape.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Oh, well, I don't know. It depends on the player, but for me, the Zuck helmet was like, it was like 2 months of just grinding. So for me, it was massive. But yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Do you have...
I want to try and get it done by the end of the year, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, by the end of the year, there'll probably be like the TOA tasks as well. I wonder what they're going to do for that.
That'll be interesting.
One thing I wanted to ask was, I know you haven't done combat achievements yet, so this might not be like a good question to ask, but do you have any ideas? Like, do you like the rewards you get from combat achievements, or do you think they're underwhelming?
I don't honestly, like, I don't really like, I guess it's different because like my series is relatively based around them, that I get enough like dopamine from doing them.
Yeah.
That like to me the rewards don't bother me, and I get like the Zuck helm is an ultimate flex, even though it looks like it weighs so much. It kind of looks like your shoulders shouldn't be able to support yourself wearing it. But yeah, maybe there could be a few things, but it doesn't bother me if they don't ever add anything. But maybe they will with like TOA. The TOA ones, they might add something, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I always just wonder, because I think for the most part, it's in a good place. I personally would like to see a couple more perks from going for it. And I also just feel like they've catered a bit to Grandmaster. Like, they've lowered some of the KC requirements and things. They want people to complete it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, Jagex wants it to be like a fun grind that people can do. And I don't feel like it's at the stage of being like insanity to complete, get a Zuck helmet. I mean, it might seem like that to some players that are just lower levels, but like, when you get some raiding experience in and you have max stats and stuff, it becomes a lot more feasible. But I just wonder if they'll ever, I don't know.
When did you get yours?
I got mine in October, like October 1st or something.
Damn, very nice.
Yeah, I went. I have this obsession with the game where like I can't move on until I do something that I'd like.
That's a good mindset to have for
Yeah,
RuneScape.
it's good. It gets things done, that's for sure. But I'm not gonna lie, it gets really stressful because my initial plan was just complete the elite diary, be done, and I completed the elite in like a week, and then I thought I could just move on with the game, and then I was like, I can't. Like I need to get Grandmaster. It's gonna be a bitch, but like I need to do this, and so for the next like month and a half, I was just going hard on it.
What surprised you? What was the one that surprised you? Maybe you thought it would be much easier, and then what did you think was much harder?
The one that I thought would be much harder was Perfect Tob.
Okay.
Perfect Tob was like, dude, this is going to take so long to master. Like you can't
I'm
make a
scared
mistake.
about that one.
And then we literally one and done it. Like I just took one attempt
Oh.
at it. I was like, oh, yeah. I mean, I had 2 gamers with me, but like, yeah. I mean, I had some. I guess I can't really necessarily say it was a one and done. It was kind of, but we were all always trying to kind of do a perfect top as we were trying to get like every room perfect. So.
Yeah.
But the time when I had everything else done and all I had was perfect top, I literally sent one and we got it. And I was like, okay, that wasn't actually as bad as I thought. There's a lot of mistakes you can make. It really is just like, okay, just know what you can't do and don't do that. And the one that, oh, and by the way, I always have to flex this. It's just my like weird flex I do. But 6 Jads, I have 2 completions now and 0 deaths. And I'm very proud of it because I did 6 Jads when it first came out and I didn't die and I was like, okay, I'm a fucking god. And then combat achievements came out and they're like, all right, you had to do back-to-back 5 and 6, and I did it my first try. I'm like, okay, I can never touch 6 Jads again because
up the ticks. Damn, that's insane. Like I guess like because obviously 5 is the real mind bender.
Yes.
And then like 6 is relatively more similar, but that's still insanely impressive.
Yeah, it's one of those like trophies that I can't
you'll never go back in now.
Yeah, I can't go back in now, which kind of sucks because 6 Jads is one of my absolute favorite pieces of content. For some reason, it comes so naturally to me.
Yeah.
It's like some things don't really come as naturally, but that I get into a rhythm. I'm just like, okay, I know exactly what's happening. I can just like do it. And there's a lot of other content where there's like too much going on. I get overwhelmed, but that feels good to me. Oh, also keep in mind, it might not, I used to do 6 Jads on Tournament Worlds. So it wasn't like my absolute first attempt going in. It was, but to be fair, it was years ago that I had practiced already. So I already
you would need a refresher at least.
Yeah, but no, I just went in and I just went for it. And that's like one of the flexes. But answering your question about what I thought would be easy and it actually ended up being hard was, 50 HP Inferno, obviously, and there was one other one I'm trying to think of that was just like really annoying. The Fight Caves one, just trying to get the sub 2630 was really tough for me because I didn't understand. I didn't know there was a wave solver. For like 5 attempts, I kept getting like 27 somethings. And then I realized, I can just look at the wiki and I can see exactly what the next wave is and just pre-fire basically. So that was like the biggest help for me. I just didn't realize. So yeah. Do you?
I have a similar thing with Fasanis. Like I thought doing 5 Fasani back to back would be really hard, but I found that kind of easy.
Fasanis is such great content. It's so good.
I love it. People hate it, but I love it. I'm sad that all the item prices have plummeted there because I don't feel incentivized to go, but I do love it.
Yeah, part of the reason is like honestly, the items are just not great in the first place. Like, yeah, Inquisitors, Mace, and Inquisitors is kind of cool, but we got full Torva now, and the staves kind of all suck now, especially with the Shadow out. It's like, there really is no reason to. I don't know. For an Iron Man's perspective, Nightmare is almost at the point of like, why am I even doing this? It's everything's so niche and it takes so many hours to get.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Okay. As a pet, I guess.
Yeah, I have 4 pets, by the way. I literally got all 4
Damn.
within like 2 weeks. I went on like a 7-month dry streak, and then I got 4 within like 2 weeks. I was like, what is going on with this place? This
Yeah, that's
back
crazy.
before Fasani's was ever released too. This is
Wow.
pre-Fasani's.
Yeah, I didn't do any for Sony until like 3 months ago, and then I fell in love with it and did like 700.
Damn. Did you get anything? What'd you get?
Mate, I went 450 dry for a drop. So my first drop came at 420-ish. I did 30 normals, 420 Fasanis, and I got a mace. So that was nice because it was
yeah.
worth a lot.
Yeah.
And then I got a plate body at like 680, and now I'm at like 720. So
Okay. Just 2 drops, but good drops.
yeah, I guess
Excuse
so.
me. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Here's a topic from Champions Cape. He asks, what project has been the most fun to work on so far? On the flip side, what project has been the most stressful?
Same answer for both the TOA trailers.
Most fun and most stressful. That's cool.
Yeah, it's like I feel like it's been I've learned the most, and I'm really looking forward to making my next video because I feel like I've learned so much. But also like I guess the group hardcore videos were tough because I felt like I had to change my formula a bit. I was kind of uploading videos with like a 1 minute 30 intro and then the content and then kind of maybe something in the middle and then finishing it. And now it's like I want to tie everything more smoothly. I still want like the RuneScape content to be the focus more than the actual sequences, even though people tend to like the sequences more. Some people tend to like the content more. I just want to try and appease both sides of my viewer base because like if I go into my analytics, if I've made like a big sequence, like a video edit sequence and stuck it in the middle, I can see like a viewer spike where people have like probably sent my video to a friend or something. We're like, oh, check out this edit at this timestamp, and then they watch that and then they click off.
I see.
I feel like I need to work on getting everything kind of tied in together, and
Okay.
that stressed me out a lot when I was trying to figure that out.
Is there this is kind of my own little question going on it. Is there anything that you would like to make like RuneScape content wise that you haven't yet done, or something that's like an idea in your head that you feel like maybe, I don't know, something that you want to do but you just haven't done it yet, or feel scared to do it, or something like that? Is there anything?
My editing process is like I have everything in my head already. So like everything I want to do for my next video is already in my head. And then I lay out a track of music or sounds, and then I edit on top of it. So I do everything first in my head and then with sound.
Okay.
I've had like ideas for things that I just like can't technically do because I just don't understand how to use the software yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I want to do lots of kaleidoscopic things, and I really like how at the end of TOA, TOA is very much like this kind of similar art style. It's like sand, gold, dark, deep blues, and it's kind of like a oceanic fever dream. And then at the very end, you're like in outer space, and there's a black hole that the boss gets sucked into. I love that contrast so much that I have like a few space kind of edit ideas for the TOA vid I want to make. It's just
Ooh, that's cool.
a matter of planning it.
Okay, here I want to ask, what is the daily routine of Gunschilli? Like
Oh, God,
what's like your morning routine into afternoon into evening? I mean, what's like the typical?
My morning is wake up in the afternoon, and my evening is go to bed in the morning.
All right. So you wake up in the afternoon. What time are we looking at? And then what do you do throughout the day?
I feel like I'm most productive at night. So like my time now until like 4 a.m. I just get the most done. It was kind of funny because Jagex wanted to be in direct communication with me for these trailers, like most days, and I would just be sending them stuff at like 5 a.m. Yeah. Like, oh, I got this done. Oh, what do you think about this? And then they would message me at like 6 in the morning, just as I'd gone to bed, with like, oh, can you do this? It's like I wake up at like 1 p.m. Like, okay, I'll get that done now.
Yeah, one message a day, basically. Yeah,
Yeah, pretty much.
that's how it feels with me talking to like occasionally some JMods or just people living. Because I also wake up like super late afternoon, where most Europeans are completely asleep. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah, and so many of my friends are the same now. It's like they kind of stay up late. So
yeah.
I don't know. I don't really have I guess it's a privilege. I don't have a routine. I do sometimes set alarms though, just because I want to be like, I have rent and to pay and chores to do and stuff. So I have to set alarms sometimes. But
So let me ask this: what would the perfect day be for you if you were more routine oriented? Like, do you have an idea of what would be like the perfect productive day, or a day that you could remember that was just like, that was a good day? Like, what did you do?
in terms of like content creation, it's definitely days where um if I get excited over an idea and everything's just like flawlessly clicking into place, those days are rare. But when they happen, it feels great and I feel productive. And that's like probably the highlight of creating RuneScape videos for me. I do like providing content and getting feedback, and I'm very glad that people enjoy it. But I do kind of make it very selfishly. It's like if I feel like something's clicking for some reason, that's what keeps me going.
Mm,
And then obviously like the fact that people enjoy it is just such a nice thing to have as well.
yeah.
But I think if no one was watching me do any of this, I'd still be doing it.
Yeah. That's cool.
Kind of weird.
That's a cool thing to actually be able to say. Like, you're passionate about it without, I don't know, the reactions of people and stuff. Like, you're gonna do it anyway. Okay. I mean, do you have like okay, well, here, let me add on to the question a little bit more. So, do you have like other activities that you like to do that's not content focused, like any other like hobbies that you like to do outside that would incorporate in like an average day, or are you pretty focused?
People don't take me for one, but I am kind of a sports guy. I
Okay,
like
what sports?
watching. I like soccer.
Yeah, you call it football though, right?
Yeah.
You have to say soccer, else I'd think it's American football.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that awkward? Yeah.
No. There's a new guy in the English Premier League. He's American.
Okay.
And he always makes a point of it. He's like, haha, soccer.
Yeah.
But like, yeah.
That's cool. Soccer is one of those things where I just absolutely suck at it. I used to be in soccer as a kid for a couple of years when I was a child, but I'm just not coordinated enough with my feet. I know it just takes a ton of practice. I mean, I see people juggling like a soccer ball and they just never let it touch the ground. I'm like, how the fuck? Like how is that? There's so much talent and skill to that. Like being able to just nonstop juggle.
I suck at it too. I just like watching it.
Okay, so you're more of like a sports just consumer.
Yeah.
Do you do any sports? Like I know it gets more awkward the older you get, but like
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm like I have periods. I'm generally quite a lazy guy, and very much like I'm sensitive and comfortable. Like I don't push. I only kind of push myself in things that I'm comfortable to push myself in.
yeah,
But
like passionate.
I got really. I started exercising a lot recently, and then I got COVID, and it just kind of like set me back so far. So yeah, I don't know. I'll get back into exercise at some point, but it's just not on my list of things right now.
Yeah, you're
Which
more
is
passionate
bad,
about
really.
other things. No, I don't.
Yeah.
I think it really just comes down to what you want in life, and if that's not something that's like on your plate, it's like clearly it's not that big of an issue if you're not motivated to do it. I don't know. I feel like the motivation comes naturally. At least for me, for years doing content creation, I was really lazy, and I just like I'd have like little phases where I'd work out and like start exercising a little bit, and then I would just get out of the habit again because it was never a habit. It was just like, oh, I got to do this. I'm not feeling great. And then
Yeah.
it was just only until this year where I just had this crazy motivation. Like, I need to take care of myself because I had really bad habits. It's different when you're like a normal dude that's like eating healthy for the most part and just not being as active. But like for me, it was like fucking order a pizza at 2 a.m. and then like sleep on that shit.
Yeah.
Not a
Sleep
great
on the
lunch.
floor, huh?
Yeah.
So that you
Damn.
get up in the morning.
Yeah, you just listen to all like you listen to like 5 episodes. You know my
Dude,
whole
I'm
life
not
story.
kidding. I've been listening to you for like 8 hours recently.
Okay, so
It's been nice to listen and do top and Toa at the same time though.
I'm glad to hear that. Okay, let me ask you this, and this is selfish. What do you think I could improve on as a podcast host? Because I know I'm still learning, and I don't actively ask for advice. I just do my own thing usually, and I don't really care that much. But what I don't know. I know this is kind of a weird topic to even
Yeah,
ask.
I don't think I could even. I can't critique really. Like I do my own podcast. It's not like it's just me and some of my clanmates.
Mm-hmm.
But like so I understand a bit about the creation side of things. It's so nice to be able to. I found it really nice to be able to like do something that's not routinely content creation. It's kind of quick to do. It's fun. You get it out and you put it out there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think you could change anything. I think it's great that you don't do it live. This
Yeah.
was live, I think I would be different,
It's
and that's not a good thing.
it's a different vibe, and people have asked me like, "Oh, why don't you like live stream it on Twitch?" I feel like the whole podcast would become a joke in not a good way. It would be
Yeah,
like
yeah,
us just reacting to trolls in the Twitch chat, and that would be all it is. It's like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And
No, it'd be cool if you could do one in real life one day.
I would. Okay, listen. When I think of like a vision, like when I have a vision of like what I would like to get to at some point, it's
Mm.
and I know this sounds like very. It's a Sae Bae cat. It's OSRS focused. This is in a niche of a niche already. But
Mm.
I really do see, in the future, maybe if I stay consistent and stuff, I could get like a little studio or something and actually like fly people out. I think
That'd
that
be
would
so
be
sick.
so cool. Like that is a dream of mine. I don't see it being realistic as of right now, but in the super future, if everything worked out exactly as I wanted, that would be like just goals, complete
Hell yeah,
hashtag
man.
goals right there. Like,
If you don't dream about stuff like that, you can't move forward. Like no
yeah,
one, a lot of people don't like to admit it, especially content creators. But like, I think the ones who make it the furthest are the ones that dream,
I think there is something to that.
because you kind of have to.
Yeah, yeah,
Even if it's unrealistic, like got to give yourself that motivation sometimes.
yeah. Have there ever been times where you've felt like content creation is not something you're gonna do long term, or have you ever been really burnt out, or just realized like,
Yeah, it happens a lot actually. Like
so what's the thought process behind it? Like, what
it's not.
happens?
This is such a toxic thing, and like I don't like talking about it because it is toxic. And but like I don't think anyone. I think if a content creator admits that they don't do this, they're lying. Like when you watch, sometimes you watch other people and like you're like, what are they doing that I'm not doing? And you compare yourself. And I think just like comparison is like the thief of joy
Yep.
for me. So like, um, even if I love that person and I thoroughly enjoy what they make, sometimes I'll compare myself and I'll be like, oh, I need to do it like this now. I remember
Yeah.
one video I made ages ago. Like, I did like this pan over Backstorian Falls, and like I put on some music that was like kind of like slow jam, and I was like talking about like the path of my journey. And it was because I had watched a Settled video, and I was like, okay, I need to start like telling people about this path that I have. And it just felt uncharacteristic of me to do at the time, because I feel like my videos are kind of a bit more chaotic.
Mm.
And like I put it out there, and I just like had instant imposter syndrome. I was like, oh crap, like I've put this out there, and if he sees it, like he's gonna be like, oh, what the hell?
Yeah.
And then he'll compare himself to me, and it's just like a weird, like why is he doing this,
Yeah.
And yeah, I just feel like anytime that I see something that I either really love or I really sometimes didn't like, I would compare it to myself, and it would make me it could ruin my day.
Yep.
Which it shouldn't, but it does.
Do you deal with okay, let me ask you this. Do you obsess over negative comments?
No.
That's a good thing.
Yeah,
I have
used
to ask because
I used to, but I don't know what happened. At some point though, I just stopped caring. And it's bad because sometimes I like the good things that people say. I sometimes feel like I'm a little bit desensitized to, and it's really upsetting. But yeah, I am generally now quite desensitized to comments, and I wish I wasn't. I wish like sometimes like with my old series, people really want to see me do it again, and like I posted something in my clan Discord the other day, like it was like a tweet that someone said like, oh, when's IDFAP coming back? And I put it in my clan Discord, and I was like, oh, I wish people would stop saying this. And I was like salty about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, why am I salty that someone wants to actually like see more of my content?
Yep.
And then one of my friends, Harry, was just like, you have to see it in this way. Like you have to see it in a way that's like, this guy is actually really excited to see what's next for you.
Yep.
And I feel like because I taught myself to be desensitized to negative comments, I also sometimes see bad things in positivity. Everything's like a level ground for me sometimes. It's like no comment is giving me any emotion anymore. I don't know if it's a good thing because no comment can ruin my day now. People can say anything about me and it doesn't affect me anymore. Even on Twitch, like no one comes into my stream and ruins my day anymore. It just doesn't happen.
So
But at the same time,
yeah.
like the positives might now be stripped.
Yeah, there was a pro and a con to it. So what was the transition? What was the turning point of you not being affected by it? Was it just enough time had just passed and you're just like, that was none of this matters?
It might have been like it might have just been my living situation at the time. I was with my ex who was also a streamer, and she was like a bigger streamer than me. So she got, and being a girl as well, she just got like much more shit.
Yeah.
And I think the way that she dealt with things was probably like something that I learned as well. Like she would get more shit, she would have to deal with more. Therefore, I couldn't have been the one to have like, if I was like, if I had like one or two shit comments, it's like nothing compared to what she got.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just feel like it formed a shield.
Okay.
Whether or not it was for the best, I don't know, but
I think it is for the best for the most part. I mean, clearly there's always improvements to be made. So like positive reinforcement could be a good thing to take. But for me, it really comes down to what I feel like is the person's motive in saying things.
Right.
For example, if it's just like all like I've seen their name before and it's just all negative, I'm like, okay, I'm just not going to take anything you're saying seriously because you're clearly in a bad mood and you're just like laying it out on the internet. But yeah, no, definitely with streaming though, it's been a process of just understanding. I think being in a not great of a place either, like when you're growing a stream and there's not really much else in your life that you're pursuing, it's just kind of like grinding your stream and maybe it's not going as well as you had hoped. And then somebody comes in and their comment is talking about, you know, how you suck. It's like,
yeah,
fuck. If you agree with that already, it's going to hurt a lot more. But if you have, you know, more success going your way and other things in your life that you care about, then those comments just don't affect you anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. How did you feel when you posted your bits thing? Because I saw like some chatter about
that. The clan chat thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's two different cultures. There's a Twitch culture and a YouTube culture. Twitch,
right, okay.
It just feels, and I guess for those that don't know what we're talking about, I have a clan that's called the Sae Baes. And it's basically just a translation from my Twitch stream over to the game. So it's like an offline chat pretty much. For years, I have always had my private off. I've never been in like a clan that's involved with my stream and stuff. So, and I'm not even active on Discord. So a lot of people are just wanting another route to be able to communicate. And I hate DMing people on the game. Like there's too many things going on. I just hate it. So I figured, okay, like I'll make a clan. Like a lot of people were wanting it. And I decided that the rankings, which have no actual utility, nobody gets any power from the rankings, was going to be based off of, oh, are you a sub in my stream, like normal streamers do. And then I chose the route of, oh, I'll let my I'll invite some of my YouTube community over there. And so there was a little badge, like if you're like a YouTube member. And so everything looked as though it's pay to win, like you come into my clan and you pay to win. But it was honestly, in my mind, and of course I'm seeing in my own head of like what the thing, I see the problem with it, but in my head I was just thinking, okay, if you're a supporter of mine, I'd like you to have like a little symbol next to your name. I mean, you're not getting anything from it. You're not getting any power. You're just, okay, this is like your support or something. And I realized posting that to YouTube with no other context, just showing the rankings, was like the worst mistake I could have made. So I just had, a bunch of backlash, and I tried to make a video explaining my thought process on it. And when you post something like anything, especially when it comes to money, if there's anything that's any point related to money on YouTube, like it just becomes I don't even know where to go with it. Basically, I just said how I perceived what I was doing, and a lot of people saw it another way, and there's no convincing them otherwise. So I just left it at that, and I was like, whatever, I'm just not going to deal with it. Oh. And I've dealt with things like this before. And I'll bring it up just briefly, just because it's something to talk about. I ran a little art competition to get the Sae Bae cast Spotify art, and this.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember this?
Yeah, I was gonna. Who? Yeah, I do remember this. Yeah, okay. I remember forwarding it to a few of my friends who do like Twitch art.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I had like a $500 prize pool, and it was gonna be $300 to the winner, or 300 and then 150, or it was like whatever it was like 300 and then 150 and then $50 or something like that, whatever equals up to 500. I don't remember the exact amounts, but basically I had like 6 total submissions, and 5 of them were just complete troll submissions,
right?
And like plagiarized. Like, I mean, like they were just taking art from other people and just posting it in like GIMP and just like calling it their submission. I'm like, this isn't even your property. Like this. Anyway. Yeah. So the whole thing kind of ended up being bad, and Chelsea Grin, just wonderful, actually put a lot of effort into a piece. And so I declared her as the winner with just myself. And it was supposed to be done through a straw poll, but I'm like, none of these other 5 I would even want. So even if they did win, like it's just like, I don't want it. And a lot of it was like just plagiarized. So I'm like, okay, Chelsea's the winner. So I made a video just saying, okay, like, there was no competition. So the biggest controversy, which I was in the wrong with this, was paying Chelsea $100 less. I just, in a private conversation that had nothing to do with my YouTube audience, we both agreed, like, okay, like, there was no competition. I'll pay you $200 for this, because like, at the time, I knew it was wrong and I knew it was shady, but to be honest, I was at the moment, I was going to pay her $200 and then go to another artist and get something exactly done the way I wanted. But I figured I'm not going to just scratch the whole competition. Anyway, I was in the wrong for that. I paid her the full amount the next day, because I realized, shorting her, that nothing of that was her fault. So I paid her the full amount. And then even after everything was resolved and nothing had anything to do with my YouTube audience, people still just fucking hated me for, just having made a single mistake. It just ruins you as a creator if you dwell on it. What I realized from all of these little mistakes I've made, and it always comes down to money. It's something money related that people have, that clearly has a big problem. I just realized, don't involve people that aren't involved with it. Like, don't share publicly what's going on, because it never leads anywhere good. So just keep things that are supposed to be somewhat private.
Yeah. My clan runs a bingo, and I tend to like take a more controversial sponsor. let's say.
Okay.
For those videos, like I'll take a mobile game instead of like Audible or something
Okay.
or whatever.
Is that controversial?
Um,
Or was
they
it?
offer more money,
okay.
but like if you really dig deep into mobile games, they're quite predatory, really.
Yeah, that's for sure.
You know, so I guess so, I guess not. And then like I say like, oh, thanks to this sponsor, you know, we're funding prize money, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I don't with our clan bingos, no one actually gets prize money. I just
Mhm.
say it. Instead, I put like between like you know $400 to $1,000 into like a we have like a meetups section in our Discord,
Yeah.
and like we'll use the money to actually like meet up in real life and like fill the fridge with beers at like our convention and stuff.
Yeah.
But like because in like if I feel like if I try to explain that, and now people know this because I'm saying it on the podcast, but if I feel like I try to explain this to my YouTube audience, like, hey, this is a sponsor, by the way, with the money, I'm not actually giving it to the team that wins. We're all going to share it together and have a good time in real life. I hope that's okay. But like
There'd
for
be
the sake of the
backlash.
video, yeah, exactly. But for the sake of the video, I'm just like, hey, thanks to the sponsor for making this bingo possible. Like there will be prize money.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. It's just like so much easier to say it like that. And I've never had any problems with that, but
it's over explaining that causes the worst.
Yes.
It's getting people that have no affiliation, like nothing. They have nothing writing on this at all, and they just want to share their opinion, and it's usually toxic. If it's any little part of it that they disagree with, it's like. And what I've realized, those are the main two controversies that have been on my channel. I guess there was one like 3 years ago where there was a troll in my chat that I said I'd give him a TiVo if he. A long story, by the way. I'm not going to go into this one, but basically, long story short, he did not win a TiVo, but there was a clip that was completely out of context, and he posted it to Reddit, and overnight, I just remember it got like 300 upvotes, and it was just like, this is years ago when nobody even knew who I was, and just some guy just basically painting a different narrative of like how I've been running giveaways all the time. This is literally I've never done giveaways on my stream. It's like, this is just, I was trolling around with this troll that's being toxic to other viewers, and I just offered him exclusively a 1 in 100 to just shut the fuck up. Basically, I'll give him a TiVo. And anyway, long story short, it became this huge problem because I never really addressed it on the Reddit post, and it just like marinated for 8 hours overnight. And so I went live the next day without even knowing there was a Reddit post, and just a bunch of people started coming into my chat calling me like the worst person, and I need to give my TiVo to this guy. And I'm like,
oh my god,
there's just like one little clip that's like 20 seconds, just one part that helps his narrative, and I'm like, this is so fucking cringe. So
wow, that's crazy.
I
mean, people just forget about that shit, or they're just like people you don't even want to watch your stream anyway.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It really just comes down to like I can empathize with people now. Like, for example, Settled had the whole thing with his girlfriend or whatever, his ex-girlfriend, and like I feel empathetic toward those, and especially like, you know, Verf had his own controversy. A lot of creators have had their controversies and things that they've made a mistake and then they apologize for it, and the community will just die on the hill of, no, they made one mistake, they need to be canceled forever. It's like, dude, oh my god. Like so I at least with my experiences, I can empathize with other people and not jump on a bandwagon of just like, oh, this is the next drama, let's jump on it and just ruin their fucking week, you know? Like, no, I avoid it.
I've managed to keep myself out. I'm like, I try and avoid conflict as much as possible. Maybe that's part
smart.
of it, but
that's smart.
But like, the only trouble I've had was with like black market people, like RuneScape black market people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like me and my ex at the time were trying to get the street like the I'm quitting streams to get taken down. This was like 2 years ago, and we got invited into like Twitch to try and help them deal with it. And so we went, and like we got back home, and like these guys had like pictures of us like from our iPhone iCloud, and they were like, if you don't like, if you keep talking about us or like trying to get us to take our streams down, we'll like release all these pictures.
Oh, Jesus
And
Christ.
my ex was like, fuck them. We're still gonna try and take you down. And they just went ham. They like we had like letters come through the door. We even thought one guy was like following us at the time, and it just got so out of hand. So out of hand. But like I didn't really talk about it publicly at the time. I just kind of hid from it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just kind of got to be careful who you mess with sometimes.
Yeah. A lot of it's like more threatening, and at least what I've heard. And I know I had Kemp Q on, and he was one of those people trying to get rid of gold sellers and stuff like that, and like
Oh yeah, he's
scammers.
probably had it a few times.
And he would get like death threats, and it's like, yeah, that would be. He even said initially that was like terrifying, but then he realized a lot of it was just like, oh, these people are in their basements and just fucking saying shit. And nothing really ever happens from it, but it still is something scary. I mean, being doxxed and being threatened is not anything to take lightly.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. You can let me know if you know. I'll edit this out if you're not comfortable talking about it. But
no, it's all good, dude.
I was gonna
I wouldn't have
ask.
said it otherwise.
I was gonna ask. With when I was talking to Will, I had mentioned, you know, what are the pros and cons of basically opening up online saying that you're in a relationship with another streamer. If you're cool talking about it, what were the pros and cons? Do you regret having had in like, I don't know, being open with your audience of a relationship you're in? Do you think there was
I am way more careful now.
Yeah.
Than I was, but then again, like I don't regret any way that I dealt with my relationships publicly, and I still don't. Like I get people come into my stream, even though me and Shaperka broke up like 2 years ago. I still get people saying like, haha, where's Shaperka? Or like I'll have like
Jesus.
someone else on my stream and they'll be like, oh, this isn't Shaperka, whether it's like my sister or a girl, like my girlfriend.
Yeah.
They'll still say it, and it just like, as long as it doesn't phase the other person I'm with, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Majority of the time people are just being nice. They just don't know how to approach these things.
Yeah.
They're just like either young and they're like, oh, this girl's different or whatever.
Yeah.
But like it's just gone past me now. Like I feel like I'm old enough to deal with that, and like I'm not in a I'm not in a relationship where either of us are like jealous like that. So it's okay. I think it very much depends on who you're with and stuff, but yeah, it's a bit annoying. Like, you know, you can, like, this person hasn't chatted, obviously been in my stream for 2 years, and they've obviously seen someone else in the thumbnail, therefore they've gone in and been like, hey, this. But I don't think I stream enough regularly for it to like really grind on me.
Yeah.
But I think it could be tough.
Yeah, I just think people love drama on the internet, so I really, simply because I've seen other people's relationships online where they get open with it. It's like, if that ever were to be, I would definitely take a second thought before just being like sharing my entire life. I try to keep most things in my life pretty private, although I am kind of open about some things. I just feel like the less people know, this sounds weird, but like I feel like the less people know about your real life, the better it is for content creation, because people can just focus on the content and not be like, oh, what's going on and what's going on with this person. It's like just weird.
Yeah. The only problem I have with it these days is that like I've built like a really solid group of friendships from my streams, and like we kind of took the decision to close everything off. So like our CC is closed, our Discord is closed, and like I feel kind of bad for that, because there's probably lots of people that would like to chill out with some of the people from my stream, but at the same time it does stop like all of our private lives being out on show, and it's built so much trust within our group.
That's cool.
But like yeah, I do feel bad for like not opening up sometimes, but
Yeah, there's pros and cons to it. It's
yeah, but I feel like if I did, I would probably like burn out for real.
yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, here's I really love this question. John asks, "What's something you love to talk about that you wish more people asked you about?"
uh hmm. Uh, I I love to talk about broken things. I feel like the game and even the way I create things is so broken, and it's all trial and error, and I mask so much stuff. There's like so many mistakes, and people think my sequences are like so, one way they're like, oh, this part was so clean, and like everything's just kind of like a filthy mistake that I've masked. Like I make something and I try and keep it to like what I have in my mind, and then I'll just put so much like band-aids on it.
Hmm.
And I feel like that's how I feel like you can do that with RuneScape because that's how the game is as well.
Yeah.
Like the game's so janky and the engine's so broken that you break it and mold it into the way that you want to play, and
Yeah.
that's like one of my favorite things I talk about that I guess people don't bring up a lot. And I want to. I've recorded my whole process of making the trailers, and I feel like if I release it, people will be kind of like, hmm? Like so many of the like Akka is like his sword, his spear, and his shield are like completely different objects from himself that you kind of have to like tie them together. And Zebak is two NPCs,
Yeah.
and like Kefri's flies. I don't know if you've noticed like the swarms. Like when you kill them, they kind of like disperse in 60 FPS almost. It
Oh,
looks like they're
really?
kind of like dispersing at like such a high frame rate, and like um just weird things like that. Like Jagex didn't even know that they had the power to do that in their game engine and with the software they use. They like kind of discovered it by mistake.
Interesting.
And so like things like that could have been in TOB. Like the swarm around bloat. They could have had like a that kind of swarm. They just
Okay.
didn't. They just found it by accident. Anything like that, I love talking about.
That's
Like
cool.
uh, I don't know if you know much about Smash Bros. Melee,
I used to
but
play it as a kid. I've never like followed it in adulthood though.
okay, yeah, it's like on a competitive level, it's like such a beautiful accident. I don't think they ever intended it to be such a flawless game naturally, but anything like that, it's like my source. I love talking about stuff like that.
Yeah, just beautiful mistakes in a way.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Old school RuneScape is such a beautiful mistake. I mean, I mean, I can't
yeah,
say it's a mistake, but this the rhythm of the game, the cool things that we've discovered. I mean, it's such a charming, quirky game that's completely broken, but there's something just so addicting about the rhythm of it. I don't know if you're a rhythm kind of person, but like that's what really glues me to this game long term is I've always been super into rhythm games. Guitar Hero,
mm,
Donkey Konga, if you ever even heard of that, it was like a bongo game. You play with a bongo
yeah.
controller.
Donkey Kong is so good.
Yeah. I loved games like that. Tap Tap Revolution on my first iPod Touch. I just
This
lived.
explains why you like skilling
Oh, I mean, skilling is. That's
because
why I
it's a
like.
rhythm game.
Yeah, that's why I like efficient skilling. When it comes to like
Mm.
Motherload Mine, where there's zero rhythm to it, I can't stand it. I'm hating my life. But as soon as
But
there's
you
a
get down to the
rhythm,
quarry.
yeah, when there's a rhythm to it, it's like this is my element. I love this.
Do you produce any music or play any instruments?
Funny you ask that actually. Just last week, I purchased Ableton Live, which is just like a
Ooh,
yeah, the
nice.
state
Yeah,
of the art, pretty much a music program. And
yeah.
I used to actually make beats back in like high school, like junior year. Just
Cool.
silly, I wasn't any good, and I was using a budget application that just didn't really have many tools. But I do
Mm.
remember, and it's just because I was like obviously broke. I'm a kid. I don't have like money or anything to like get something nice to work with. But I was super into that. I mean, that was my passion. That was my that was what I wanted to pursue. And so in college, my first major was music. I had switched my major twice. It was music and then English and then communication, and then I literally just dropped out of school and just started playing RuneScape because there was nothing I was passionate about, and being a music major burnt me out so hard. It was unbelievable how just depressing it was. And it was not what I anticipated, because I wanted to go in learning how to compose and a lot of music theory and just really learn the basics of music so I could just start like producing beats and stuff. And I just fell out of it for some reason. So for the past 7 years, I've just completely avoided music. I think just that huge burnout. And then just lately I've been listening to a lot of like progressive trance and other things, just music that's more based in like early 2000s.
Okay.
And I know my music tastes change all the time, but like for right now I'm like, dude, I want to make stuff like this. Like I would love this. I know it's going to take a lot of work, but that's a little side project I've been working on, because I've realized over 3.5 years of dedicating my life to creating RuneScape content, there's something missing. I don't have any like other hobby really besides like I don't know, walking I guess is my new hobby, but I want to get into something that can fulfill me a bit more, and so I think music is going to be the route I take. It's going to take years to actually produce like good stuff, but I figured I might as well start now because I am passionate about it, and the passion's coming back to me. So
that's awesome. I feel like there's such a correlation as well with music and a lot of people who take the game very seriously.
Yeah.
Like Automelody's so good at the piano, and
oh yeah.
there's like Hey Jace is like obsessive with his music taste, and
Yep.
there's like I feel like there's a lot of tie-ins with music and RuneScape.
There has to be, especially with high level PVMers. Like Adwam, Adicon, Exact, those Rendy, like those people that are just, it feels like they have the game internalized. It's like just things make sense to them. I think a deep part of that is this deep rooted rhythm inside of them. They can, you watch Exact do like a no pillar pure Inferno. I mean, he just understands ticks. He understands rhythms. There's 5 monsters attacking him at once, and he just understands immediately. It's like an intuition to just be like, okay, like this is going to attack me next. Like just pray perfectly, and it just is natural to them. It's weird, and I think rhythm is the biggest part of that.
Yeah, definitely. It's like playing an instrument, playing the game sometimes.
Yeah, it really is. The Kazi asks, if you had to go from 0 KC to green collection log, which boss would you choose? No raids. If you had to add any new unpulled skill, what would you want and why? So two questions. I don't really understand the first one. Is just talking about like one boss or something like that you'd want a green log, or?
I guess so. Like I feel like Gauntlet would be the easiest out of like the ones I'm thinking of that I love the most, but I would happily sit for Sani's Nightmare all the time, but that would take so long to green log.
Yeah.
It's
a beast. How many kills is it on average? Like 5,000 or something for everything?
It's so much.
That's
like months and months.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
For Sani's. So I'd probably just go Gauntlet for that reason.
I think TOA would be just so fun to green log. I mean, I'm in the learning stages where I'm just trying to do experts, and that's what I want to get comfortable with. So I'm just dying over and over and over and over and over. But I feel like when I get comfortable, green logging that place is going to be just a blast.
Yeah, it will be.
And when things are more solved.
Yeah, I can't wait.
If you had to add any new unpulled skill, what would you want and why? And Art, and let me just extend on that. Are you a fan of a new skill coming into the game?
No.
Interesting.
I'm just not. I don't know. Like, if any of them that were like proposed previously were to come in, I would take Artisan, I think.
Okay. Really? That's like my least, the one I'd
be
least wanting. Yeah. Because it basically forces you to, the idea of it's kind of cool until you think about it a little bit more, at least for me. My opinion is that I would never want to just skill. I would have to get a task for artisan and then skill vat, which just feels like I'm limited
Oh,
all
okay.
the time with everything.
Right. Yeah.
My own take.
Yeah. No, I could see that. I think
Yeah.
it depends how serious you take skilling. I feel like, yeah, I just honestly I cannot. I don't want a new skill. I just don't.
Yeah,
Like I
that's
can't
fair.
think of anything that I would want.
I was a huge fan of barding.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
That huge thing. Like, yes, there was things I didn't. I
Caveman
wasn't
wrote that up.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, caveman and gentle tractor I had on the cast, and they were just talking for hours about it, and it just excited me so much because of how well thought out it was. Obviously, there's things I didn't like about it, but I mean, I think the community favorite is probably sailing, just because it kind
Memes.
of what's the word I'm thinking of? It involves like combat, which people just crave combat. They want to kill shit. So so if there were to be a skill, you would choose artisan,
Yeah.
but you just don't want one.
No.
What's the reason you don't want one?
I probably should read up on the bard skill. I didn't really like read up much about it. This is my bad.
Yeah, no, it's not your bad. I mean, the community consensus was they don't want bard because it's a lot of people just don't like music. I mean, people in their head, they think we have one shot. We have one skill that we'll ever get in this game, and we got to make it the best. And so people have this like really toxic thought process. It's like we have to just have the absolute perfect skill or none. And there's no, most people don't think, oh, maybe we could have like 3 new skills in the next decade, you know, like, but it just seems to be this common consensus that, okay, we only get one skill, if any, and we got to make it perfect, which is just like, ugh.
Did you get stuck into dungeoneering much pre-EOC?
So I quit. I played RuneScape from 2004 to 2007, and then I quit for 8 years. Like, I just didn't log in once. So I have no idea what dungeoneering. I know a lot of people love it, and I think I've maybe seen a couple of YouTube videos on it, but I have no idea. It seems like Raids 1 a little bit.
Right, fair enough. Yeah, kind of.
Would you want dungeoneering?
No.
Okay. Would you want any RS3 skill?
My brain was bad back then. Like I paid to leech and stuff. I didn't really like properly get stuck into the content.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if I had friends that were like willing to hop on voice and do it with back then I would have. But I just wasn't. That's just not what I was. I was a PKer, so
yeah, like everyone.
I just wasn't. Didn't do it. Paid people to carry me.
What's the reason? The fundamental reason why you don't want a new skill? Just change in general. Just
I don't want to see Hey Jace not be rank 2.
No, he'll still be rank 2.
Probably.
No.
I don't know. I just can't like it is that mindset of like if I can't think of something perfect, I don't want it, which is really bad. But
yeah. I mean, that's.
I don't know.
Old School's almost been out for a decade, and we've not had any new skills, and the game's thriving. So
yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, put it in the Fresh World servers.
For me,
test it.
I would love it if they came out with sailing, and it took them, years to develop. Like, I want a full-fledged, like, beautiful skill. I mean, the Old School team can come out with incredible content, as we've seen lately. Guardians of the Rift was really great. TOA, phenomenal. And without a doubt, I know that if they did come out with a skill like sailing or something, they could just nail it. It would take a lot of dev work, but in my opinion, I think it would be really good for the game, and it would honestly shake things up a little bit. And one of the things, a little bit selfish, is I would love to just see everyone's max capes go away for a month or two.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah. I think it would be kind of just interesting to see. But there would obviously be cons to it, but I think the pros would outweigh it, in my opinion.
I worry about people's health too. Like the race for 200 mil will be like intense.
Oh yeah, because by the time a new skill comes out, there will probably be like 50 or more players that have 200 mil all, and so like you can just see the sweat like just going. But
Yeah.
for me, I don't care about people's health. I mean, they do whatever they want, you know. I mean, I care
true.
obviously, but it's like I'm not gonna force them to like play a certain amount of hours, do whatever the hell you want.
Mm.
But for me, the race would be incredible to watch.
It would be insane. Yeah.
It would just be such a fun aspect. And Link's Titan, I doubt would come back for it, or like
No.
a lot of players probably wouldn't come back. But those that do would take it really seriously, and I think it would kind of bring back that kind of skilling atmosphere that I've kind of missed. That deep competition for rank 1 is just really exciting.
Yeah. Do you watch the have you been watching the Max Cape from scratch stuff?
Yes.
Yes, I like that.
Yeah, it's really. I mean, you got Hebox Yonga, who's literally one of the most talented skillers ever on old school.
Yeah.
And the dude is jacked IRL too. I mean, the dude is just like.
I've seen.
Yeah. I actually had him on the Sae Bae cast like a year or so ago before he had completed 200 mil all. He is one of the most kind and like thoughtful individuals I've like ever spoken to. I mean, he's just a really great dude, and so on top of him just being a great dude, he's just so passionate about the game. Imagine doing 200 mil all and then trying to go for max again. Like what? Like you got to have so much passion for the game, and it's just cool to see. So
yeah, no, I really hope those vids continue to do well.
Yeah, and I'm also just really happy for him because I don't know, seeing somebody come out with an idea, and I know it's not his original idea. I know JCW has been doing his own series, but just the hype that comes from it and seeing his channel grow is just always so cool to see.
Yeah. It's funny as well because like I watched the first episode and there wasn't like much big brain stuff going into it. Like he had to follow like a very strict like questing kind of path, and then when the skilling really gets going, it's like whoa, this guy's nuts.
Yeah, it's really cool to see.
Have you had someone on twice yet?
Yeah, I've had let's see, Rigondow I've had on twice, Randalicious, Uncle, Whale, Steamrolled Tail First, if you know who he is.
Cool.
And some other people. Secon, Lopsy.
Yeah.
A few.
You should get him back on. I'd love to hear more about the series.
I would absolutely love to get him back on. Yeah. Yeah, he's a cool guy. Okay. Here's a topic from Polo Bay. Kind of already covered, but if there's anything else. He said he'd love to hear about your art journey. What's your history with learning editing, and do you have any background in graphic design or similar? And I'll extend on this question a little bit more because we did talk about you getting into content creation, mostly Twitch related, but we never really talked about your origins, getting into YouTube initially, and really putting your editing skills to the test, I guess. So
I had nothing, no background. I was like a bit earlier what we're talking about with being kids. Like I was told that I shouldn't go into like graphic design, media, art, anything like that. So I just kind of never thought it was something I could do. My dad's always been quite creative. He's pretty good at drawing, and my grandma actually worked for Disney.
Oh wow.
I don't know what she did, but obviously not in America. It was in the UK, so I don't think she was like doing any like animation or anything.
Was she an artist?
Yeah, she was an artist.
That's cool.
Yeah, I don't really know what she did though. So I didn't really like think I would do YouTube. But like it's a weird way of how I got into it. It's actually all Mr. Mammal, pretty much.
Really?
Yeah, because Cerberus came out and he had just started to go really dry on the Prim crystal, and I was just releasing Twitch highlights. I wasn't really actually making proper videos. And he was going so dry on this Prim crystal, and I got the level on my Iron Man at the time to go and do Cerberus. So, and I got it in like 5 KC. So, as like a joke, I was like, how about I make like this over edit for like the Prims? I'll like turn them into like Air Max Jordans and like zoom in and out on them and like send my character off into space and stuff. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna spend like a week doing this because I think it's funny.
Yeah.
And so I like downloaded. I was using Windows Movie Maker at the time, so I was like, oh,
Oh
okay,
God, that
I'll
old
hop onto
ancient. Yeah.
I'll hop onto Camtasia for this. So I went onto Camtasia and I used just like I just used so many GIFs and presets, and I just like shoved them all on top of like this image of my character standing still wearing the boots, and it was like my first video that got over 1,000 views. It ended up getting like 20,000, which was
Jesus.
back then was like a lot for a RuneScape video.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, people want to see this kind of thing. Like back then, I thought all of my videos had to be like humor driven. I like narrative and storytelling was just not really like a big thing back then. Like no one really like did that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, I'll just keep making these like funny edits. So like one video I made, I was doing like Darok Risk fighting and um, what's that like Bag Raiders song, like Shooting Stars.
Yeah.
You know that song?
Yeah, the Shooting Star song, but like rare
Yeah,
wooks and everything.
yeah. The
Yeah.
the rare Wooks meme
Yeah.
was going around, so I did like an uppercut and like did like the Shooting Stars edit, and that was like on Reddit, I think. And I just kept doing these like quirky edits, and then
Yeah.
I ended up getting Adobe Premiere Pro and After Effects, and like I downloaded that, and it was costing me like $90 a month. So I was like, okay, I've bought it, I've downloaded it, I'm gonna have to take it seriously.
Yeah.
So I don't know, something just switched to me. I just started grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding.
That's cool.
I'm like trying to learn how to use it.
That's cool when the passion takes over. It's like it really sucks if you are interested in doing something. It's just so overwhelming, you lose motivation for it. But like when you get that passion and that drive for it, it's just so addicting.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. So that's about how I got into YouTube.
So literally no background. It was just like
No.
let's go for it. That's cool.
Yeah. I like I've always been kind of interested in how the game breaks though. Like back then, there was no Oculus Orb, or you couldn't change the draw distance either. So the way I managed to like mask things was I would use a Disc of Returning and go into like the weird kind of rooms where everything's black, so
Yeah.
you could like put backgrounds in.
Yep.
And
yep.
my friend Toucan, he's like he knows so much stuff. Like he knows so many different areas and weird quirky sounds, and I would just ask him like, oh, where can I go where I could get this so that I could edit the game like this, and he would just give me the information and I'd kind of just like build based off that. So like I kind of like always found ways to make things that look impossible in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then like as time went on, things just kept coming out. Like RuneLight changed everything when you could set a draw distance with GPU and you could like scale around areas. Like everyone started doing like little like full screen pan over Mauritania kind of things.
Yeah.
And then Blender came out and everything was kind of thrown upside down. Like again, like I think Blender's a great tool, but I don't think it should be the staple of creating a scene in RuneScape, because it can look very unrealistic sometimes, and maybe it doesn't look like the game. But
Yeah.
as a tool, it's so interesting. Like, I feel like it's best for achieving camera angles that you can't possibly create in game, but trying to stick to the game as true as possible. That's like my one thing I put in mind when I make something on Blender. It's like I want to show something in the game that's true to the game, but at an angle that you'll never see it.
Yeah.
And I think that like surprises people the most.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even Hootie Tootie's trailer, I know it's like super Blender. I mean, it obviously looks like everything's like a Blender animation kind of thing, but the camera angles are so cool, you know.
Oh, that's exactly why he thrives so much. Is
Yeah.
like off the top of my head, like the way he gets the camera to follow the arrows.
Oh,
That's an
yeah.
example
That's
of what I was saying. Like
Yeah.
you can, if you achieve things like that and you think outside the box, that's what really makes those sequences special. More so than
100%.
something that looks graphically impressive. It's more like the feel. You're getting the feel of the arrow like traveling across.
Yep.
I think it was like he changed from like Tob into the Inferno, and the arrow carried through the two scenes.
Yes.
And like that
So
just
cool.
makes everything look so good. And
Yeah.
to be fair, like I think that trailer he did, the most credit I think to give is the sound, man. Like he
It gave
made
me
it
the
sound
chills,
so
man.
good. And
Yeah.
that's really hard to do. To have like the sound match the visuals so perfectly
Yeah.
is actually really
It's
difficult.
an art, 100%.
We had a long conversation relatively recently about like our process, and it was pretty similar. Like he also kind of edits through sound, and like his idea is mapped out, and then he like kind of a sound can emphasize like the way he sees a visual, and then he'll try and create the visual that he sees based off hearing the sound.
Yeah. Hootie Tootie is extremely talented. And
Yeah.
I talked to him. I think he was like, what? I don't know. He likes working on massive projects, but it's definitely like super overwhelming and stuff. But
Yeah.
like, I
It is.
really look forward to future works from him. He's just so
I
good.
really hope he doesn't burn. It would make me sad because like
Yeah. No, I don't think.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
inspirational for me. So I like hope he does. I hope he can like I don't know. I'm a bit gutted that like the speedrun cup didn't get much support from Jagex.
Yep. Yeah.
Like I understand that like maybe some of the team names were like cum butthole or whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't help.
But man, it was so well executed.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think of the speedrun cup, and it's like, it is such a massive project that is. I mean, it is hours and hours and hours long. I mean, it's almost like. I think they were, and I don't want to be like critiquing because they did something I would never be able to do. It's just incredible. But for the average viewer, dedicating yourself to an entire speedrun cup series is like a lot of time allocation just to enjoy the content. And I feel like they might have went a bit too hard on just like showing every single run. You know what I mean? Like instead
Yeah.
of it being sort of like highlight
Mm,
driven.
sure.
It's tough.
The
It's like
streams.
what are you supposed to do? Like I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that is really hard. But
Yeah.
like in terms of like I think that is the best PVM esports slash thing you like we've ever seen.
Yeah. I
Still.
mean it is. It just really stinks that like what you said, it just didn't get as much support. And honestly, I think and this is my own like crappy takes, is like as much as like they did market it pretty well, I feel like if, for example, they had more community or they had more Jagex backing it a little bit, there could have been so much hype, like so much more hype to it than there already was. And it just kind of stinks that it was kind of like it felt as though it was Eevescape and Hootie really trying to push it instead of like the entire community backing and be like, this is gonna be so sick, and getting people a bit more hype about it. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like as well, this is a slight tangent, but with RuneScape, like it took me a while to realize this, but there's just people that just don't like some content, you know? Like
Yep.
some people really don't want to sit and watch me make a cinematic, or like they don't want to sit and watch someone like talk about how they're doing Bandos or whatever. Like some people just want different things, and I feel like it's quite dividing in a way. But like I have a lot of viewers that don't even play the game that just watch my sequences and then they click off during the actual gameplay, and then I have people that just skip the sequences and they just want to see me fill in log slots. It's kind of crazy, but
Yep. Just
people want
impossible to
different
please
things,
everybody.
and you can't please everyone. Yeah.
Okay. Last little topic I'm seeing here that I want to touch on before we wrap things up is MC Matt asks, "Will you please let your cat outside?"
Do you want to go out, Gandalf? My cat's called Gandalf, spelled Gandolf,
I
because
love that.
the person that I've adopted him, that he's quite old. The person that bought him didn't know how to spell it,
It is Gandalf.
so it's Gandalf.
I love
Yeah,
it.
I live in like a weird farming town at the moment. I'm looking to move, but yeah, he's he's very smelly and old, and he always wants to go out and then always wants to come back in. So I think that's where that meme comes from.
I love it.
But he's a very happy boy that you're allergic to.
Yes, it sucks. I think cats are the most adorable creatures, and I could, when I think about it, if I were to ever get a pet, I would definitely choose a cat over a dog. But it would have to be hypoallergenic, and I'd have to be in a really good place because like I can barely take care of myself right now, and if I had to like take care of an animal, I'm not in the place for it. So yeah, but in the future, I think having a little cat would be just adorable.
You get short-haired ones, I guess.
Yeah, or even like a Sphinx cat, one of those just naked, ugly
they're
ones.
badass.
They're apparently super loyal though. They're like very loyal to their owner.
Yeah, I bet.
So,
Do you know Dromy?
Dromy?
Yeah,
Yeah, Dr. Dromy?
I think. Yeah, he has one, right?
Oh, I don't know. Does he?
I think so. Yeah.
He's never met. I don't. Maybe he's mentioned it. He trolls a lot in my streams. So I don't know whether to take him seriously or not. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen a real Sphinx cat in real life. So I've seen pictures of them, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, they're terrifying. But at the same time, like, I kind of like ugly creatures that are like, as long as they're not dirty, you know what I mean? Like smelly or dirty and stuff. If they're just ugly, I can appreciate them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like that with RuneScape pets. I love the Abyssal, the
Protector,
Rift Guardian
Abyssal
pet.
Protector.
Yeah, people hated it, but
Yeah, a lot of people hate it. I also like, well, one of my favorite pets that's super underrated is Kraken.
Oh yeah.
I love Kraken. I love tiny pets. I love the little tiny ones, and I love that Kraken every single Christmas has a Santa hat.
Ah yes.
It's just like perfect.
Yeah. Are you excited about the wilderness boss changes?
Yes, I actually am. Now, I'm probably one of the people that would least be looking forward to it simply because I just completed the wilderness a couple months ago, like fully.
Oh, I did 2 weeks ago.
Really? Congrats.
Yeah. I got Vetian Pet was the last thing.
Let's go. Yeah, so now that they're coming out with like more stuff, like attachments to the rev weapons, I'm like, ugh, I gotta go back out there. But it seems like it'll be fun because you can mass it as an Iron Man, which is just a really cool way to go about it, because it would really suck if it's like something you kind of have to mass, but if you're an Iron Man, you have to like find some stupid way to solo it and try not to get griefed.
Yeah.
So,
I forgot about rev weapons. I don't have those yet, so I'm not.
yeah,
not
but you're talking about like you've had all pets and stuff out in the wilderness.
Oh,
and stuff.
I've had everything from the main bosses. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I went like really hard. I got like full Dagon High, all rev weapons, Eternal Glory, full Chaos outfit. Like I went hard for a long time. I also spooned every single pet though, so keep that in mind. I literally didn't go above rate for any pet. So that was definitely a help. If I had gone like 4 times rate of one pet, I would have just never completed the wilderness.
Yeah, it would be rough.
Yeah, like imagine like there's somebody that went like 10,000 dry of Vedion. I'm like, fuck that. That just sounds like hell. I don't know.
Yeah, that would not be fun. Spider, I wouldn't mind so much, and Scorpia, but bear and the skeleton, nuh-uh.
Yeah, no, thank you. You know, I lost my first Callisto Cub. I didn't insure it, and I died to a Mithril Dragon later that day with it out.
Whoa.
So,
no way.
Yeah, I got the Callisto Cub at like 9:40, died. It was like my first week of streaming. I literally got it and lost it on stream. And then I ended stream because I was so pissed off. I forgot that you're supposed to insure pets. I just like it spaced my mind for an hour. So,
Pain.
but I re-grinded it and I got it again like 700 kills later. I was like, fuck yeah.
Not so bad.
Okay, Tom, I have really thoroughly enjoyed our conversation today. I really appreciate your time this afternoon.
Thank you so much.
I got 2 more questions for you to wrap things up. And first one is, where do you see yourself in 5 years from now, and where would you like to be? And then the last one is 3 shout outs from the community. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's tough. I would like to be doing the same thing, but have maybe stretched out my profile a bit in terms of like working on things outside my own channel. So I'd like to make a music video one day as well.
Ooh, with original music or like just a song you already like?
Maybe both.
That'd
The
be
thing
cool.
is with making a RuneScape music video is that like it's gonna get claimed,
Yeah.
and yeah, I don't
No,
know,
no
it's a bit
money.
risky.
Yeah.
No money, and it could get blocked as well if
Yeah.
the artist is like, yeah, I don't want my whole song in this on YouTube like this.
Yeah, what you really need to do if you're like really gonna spend a lot of time is just contact the artist directly and just be like, hey, like,
Yeah,
can I just use
I
this?
I do that sometimes for my own videos. It's some
How has it worked, by the way? Because I've never actually reached out when I've added music, mainly because there's like multiple songs usually. But
I think it's like how you I learned it's I think it's like how you approach them. Like I make half the video and then I send it to them
Mhm.
as like an unlisted and like, hey, I really love your song and I think it would be a great fit for this part of my like video game video that I'm
Mhm.
making. Um obviously, and then I always say like obviously um I'm okay with it being claimed and the revenue going to the label. I just kind of want to know if it would get blocked or anything. And like honestly, 80% of the time they actually respond. Um, and I'd say of that 80% that do respond, about half of them actually say, "Oh, we'll whitelist your channel."
That's cool.
Like I have whitelists from UMG Australia, which is crazy because UMG are known as like universal money grabbers, right? They claim everything. And I asked to use a Tame Impala song on my video once, and they were like, "Yeah, we'll whitelist your channel,"
Wow, that's so cool.
which is crazy. Honestly, if you're a content creator and you want to use copyright music, it's always worth asking.
Yeah, that's really
And
interesting that they're so willing to just whitelist.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's like a few SoundCloud artists and some vaporwave artists and some lo-fi creators as well that I kind of like have talked to, and they've been like, "Yeah, that's awesome, sure." So yeah, it's worth asking all the time.
That's cool. So next 5 years, doing the same thing and potentially working on some other little projects and reaching out. I guess more community-driven projects. I'm assuming.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That's cool. All right. Well, now's the time for 3 shout-outs. So anybody in the community, it doesn't have to be the top 3. Just
Sure.
any.
I want to shout out my friend Wedges. His name is Dan. He is probably one of the unknown great players on RuneScape simply because he's so good at grinding. He, I think, was rank 2 Sire for his pet. And I think he's like rank 15 Vorkath for a Skelly Visage. He gets so unlucky on so many things, but he also gets lucky at some things. But he has the best mentality for out of any RuneScaper I've ever come across. He'll go so dry and he'll be able to grind through that grind for 10 hours a day and not complain. He'll get a bit
Sheesh.
grumpy, but he just has this brain that I've never encountered before on RuneScape. And he's killing it at TOA right now. He's up every day grinding through. He's been so unlucky at TOA so far, but he's just loving it. And he's taught me so much about how I should play the game. And I find joy in places that you shouldn't find joy in the game now because of him. So
Hell yeah.
Wedges. I want to. Who else do I want to shout out? Who plays in the community? This is tough. Uh, uh, I want to shout.
I always ask is like my audience listening. It's like these are not like well thought out before the podcast. I literally ask it and they're
Yeah,
just like
no.
on the spot. So
uh, I'll shout out. Let's go Witchcrafty
hell yeah.
because she's talented and full of ideas, and we bounce ideas off each other a lot, and it's always been beneficial, I think, for both of us.
That's so cool.
And we're gonna work on something together soon,
Ooh, I'm
so
excited.
that's gonna be fun. Okay, I'll do a content creator next. Who do I want to shout out? Uh, I'll shout out Will.
Hell
He's
yeah.
like he's like one of the, I guess because he's American, I've kind of met so many people that I wanted to meet. but I've not met Zoe and Will. So I'll shout out both Zoe and Will. That's 4 people. Because it feels like I've known them for a while now, and I really want to meet them, and they're just really cool, down to earth people.
Yeah, very bubbly too. Just
Yeah.
just full of energy and just excitement for things. So
Hell yeah.
very cool.
There you go. That's my shout outs.
Tom, I have loved spending the afternoon with you. I think this is a really nice podcast. So guys, down in the description, be sure to follow gunschilli on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Is there anything else you'd like linked down below?
No, I'm all good. But shout out you, Sae Bae.
Much love.
Thank you.
No, it's definitely.
Thanks for having me, Beast.
It's my pleasure. It's always really good to know. Just meet somebody for the first time, talk to them for multiple hours, and just like really get to pick their brain. So it's definitely always my pleasure.
Can I add one thing?
Go for it.
I think Hootie shouted this out before, so you might find the link there already on his podcast. But the RuneScape Art Hub.
Oh, have the Discord linked?
Yeah, they're really good. If you want to learn anything about like Blender or even like Premiere Pro or just content creation in general, there's so many people in there who are willing to help.
Okay.
And they're great. So
awesome. I'll have that link down in the description.
It used to be a private Discord, but it's public now. So
okay, cool. Okay. Thank you guys for listening. Next week, by the way, scheduled, we will be having Megan on the Sae Bae cast. She is a old school RuneScape creator that just recently got her first Infernal Cape, so that's pretty hype. And partnered streamer, so we're gonna be talking to her next week. And yeah, thank you guys for listening. Enjoy the rest of your days, and we will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.